And the Bills with a big win, holding on to. It was a very interesting thing to watch the rise and fall of Josh Allen during that game, and then he rose again. But really, those early turnovers had nothing to do with Allen. Those passes were spot on. They were just kind of freak interceptions, or there was a fumble somewhere, and that probably was his fault. But for the most part, Allen played really well. But then he started getting into his head. And then he started looking bad. I'm like, man, if he doesn't turn it around, we're going to lose this game.
Yeah, I think it was 2 picks, 2 fumbles. I know the Beasley pick certainly wasn't his fault.
It wasn't
bounced
his.
right off his chest.
And there was another that wasn't his. There was no Josh Allen throw it directly to the defender interceptions. So I thought that was a positive. And the other thing is, good teams find a way to come back when they're down and they're flat-footed. And I have to say that the Miami Dolphins, this isn't it your typical conference game? I mean, it's the third time you played them this season, and but we'll talk more about that coming up in a second.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go.
I was speaking of typical conference game. I mean, you kind of saw that last night too. Bengals, Ravens, they didn't have their starting quarterback either. Baltimore didn't. And if it wasn't for the backup with that fumbled play at the goal line that was returned for a touchdown, that was the difference in the game. I mean,
it's that's what this weekend is really all about.
Makes you wonder. Everyone for a while there in the NFL, not that anybody thought that the quarterback position wasn't extremely valuable, but for 90s, early 2000s, running back was the dominant position. You had to have a great running back to be a good team, and now it's all quarterback. And I just found it interesting that missing starting quarterbacks didn't really lead to any blowouts this weekend.
That third-string quarterback for Miami was spectacular. I mean, he had a really, really good game, and I almost feel like you kind of get that feeling, right, when any time, this just always happens. Any time you hear people saying there's no way Miami can beat Buffalo, there's no way the Giants can beat Minnesota. Anytime you hear stuff like that, it always seems to be, boy, you better take a real good look at this one. Yeah. And sure enough, it was quite a weekend. By the way, Syracuse plays tonight. We'll talk about that. Comets played over the weekend. Pioneers played over the weekend. We'll get into all that stuff coming up. This weekend, my wife and I were, you make that decision. So you have to move a family member. It's not that much stuff. It's a small apartment. We could do it all with a van. Or do you hire somebody to do the moving? It was even easier because the apartment we were moving to has a rule that you can't move in. You can't go in the front entrance. You got to go to the loading dock, and there's somebody there that basically takes your stuff up to your floor. So why not do it ourselves? This should be easy, right?
Sure.
This should be simple. So we get. I'll get into the rental truck in a second. So we get all the way down there in New York City and pull up, get ready to go. I unload. I'm getting set to put stuff out right at the loading dock, and we walk in. It's like, oh no. We don't have anybody here. I said, I called, and you said we'd be good until like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. It's 2 o'clock. Yeah, well, we don't have anybody. So we were screwed. I'm like, all right, what do I have to? Could you have somebody here tomorrow? Well, we definitely could tomorrow. So that means I'm going to have to store this vehicle somewhere, and with everything in it. With everything in it. So then, like a miracle, and I heard harps even. All of a sudden, the guy came out and said, "You're good news. I got someone to come in. They'll be here in a few minutes. They're going to help you take everything upstairs." So I'm like, man, our day is flying. So we get everything onto this van, and it's a van. I wanted a van, not the big box truck. A van, because you're driving through the city of New York. Traffic, narrow lanes. There are all these restaurants that have set up shop in their shanties on these streets, making getting through with traffic very difficult. So I have a van. Turns out the van was a little bigger than I expected. It was an extended van. Do you know what an extended van is? It's basically a truck. So, all right, fine. All went well. Things are good. I'll park the vehicle. You guys finish putting the stuff into the apartment. We're going to be done before 7 o'clock. This is wonderful. I go to the first parking garage. Oh, no. I said it's 11.2. I even memorized it. It's 11.2 feet clearance. We should be good. I wanted them to think I knew what I was talking about, you know.
So there wasn't spots. They said you were too high.
This is an extended van. No. Meanwhile, I can't understand anything of what they're saying except for the word no and the fact that he's pointing back towards the street. No. So I said, well, all right, so go to garage number 2. I didn't even pull in there. The guy's just standing there, just shaking his head like, this is not going to happen. It's an extended van. So this guy, at least, I'm like, where can I go? Well, you come around the block. You go around the block, and then go down, 69th, and cross over. You want to cross over, I don't know, 4, maybe 3. You'll see one. By the time you get to the west side, you'll see an open air. They might take you in an open air parking lot. Now, I know there's an open-air parking lot over at B&H, was the electronics store. But that you can only park there if you're buying stuff at the time. And it's Saturday, and that store's closed. It's all Jewish-operated, so they close on Saturdays. So I'm looking for a place. So I finally was like, all right, we're going to spend the night at this hotel. Let's go to the hotel. Maybe the front desk can assist us in finding a place.
I was going to say what the guy was telling you to do was basically drive out of town, park it in a parking lot, and then take an Uber back to the city.
Correct. That's basically it. Yeah, that was one of my thoughts. Like, I'm going to have to leave the city, drive a little bit, maybe drive into Yonkers or something, find some hotel that I can park the outdoor parking, open-air parking, and park it, and then I'll have to Uber back in.
Jeez.
So, and, this is just going on forever. Finally, I have a very helpful, loud, fast-talking bellman at the hotel. He's like, I can fix this. He said, come on out. Let's take a look at the situation. Oh, you've got an extended van, which basically means it's longer.
Yeah.
It's long.
Yes.
So
I checked out my thesaurus as you were telling your story. I've come to that conclusion.
It's longer. It's a longer van. And I'm like, well, to the last parking garage, they had open-air parking. There's a Mercedes out there. There's all these beautiful vehicles. I'm like, well, why can't I just park out here? And he's like, nah, we're only here till midnight. And somebody comes climbing over the fence and beats up your car. We can't be responsible for it. So you can't park. I'm like, what are you doing with the Mercedes? It'll be gone before midnight.
Oh, man.
So it's only daytime parking outdoors. Anyway, so the bellman's like, wait a minute. There's a spot right there. So there's like 3 places away, 3 parking spots down the street. There is a spot. I couldn't fit a Yugo in this thing. I don't know what this guy's thinking. I'm like, man, I don't think I can fit in that. I have an extended van. So he's like, you'll be fine. You will be fine. So I back it up, and I felt like it was my father yelling at me, trying to teach me how to parallel park. This guy screaming at me from the street.
The bellhop?
Yes. Turn now! What are you doing? Crank the wheel the whole way. Oh, my God. And I swear to you, this is exactly how this happened. I was able to pull into, except for the part where he's like, you're hitting the car behind you. Stop!
Oh, I'm going to spill my coffee. You got.
Oh, my God. We finally parked. I pulled that. I don't know how. First of all, I got in there, and then I'm thinking, I don't know how I'm going to get out. There's not enough room to get this vehicle out, but I got it in, so I'm just going to inch back and forth to get the thing out.
Oh, man.
And then here's the best part. He's like, now, we got you in there. That's good. Problem is, you got to pay for parking here. Otherwise, the cops will come along and they'll give you a ticket. Those tickets are like $200.
Ooh.
So here's what you do. put the maximum in for 2 hours, which was $12, put it on the dash, and then 2 hours later come back and do it again. And then by 6 o'clock, I got to tell you, the cops don't come around much. So I think you're going to be okay. And I'll watch the vehicle for you. So I tipped him, and he watched the vehicle. And sure enough, I only put it in one time. I went back to do it, and he said, the cops have already been through. I think you're going to be fine. So, and then at midnight, it turns to Sunday free parking. So I didn't have to pay yesterday to park.
That's cool.
So I parked that stinking extended van for $12 and a $20 tip.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really good.
Which would have been the extended, if you could have found a place that would have parked it. They say the extended would have cost you probably double what you would pay for a normal situation.
Holy cow.
So that was it was an adventure. It was an adventure. So no matter how much, and I even checked them, like the parking garages take vans in the city. We're going to be fine. There will be no problem. But I didn't realize I had the great extended van, which probably was completely needed because we had the thing completely packed. But that's how it ended. And I, sure enough, last night at like 7 o'clock, picked up the van from the street, drove it off, and the person in front of me had actually left, so I was able to drive right out easily. And on our way,
wow, happy ending there.
We got home late last night, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to work tomorrow. So here we are.
Well, that was an exciting weekend.
It was. Quite a weekend.
I love the guy yelling at you, no, you're hitting the car!
Oh, and what it had, the extended van, in addition to being extended, has these two rubber, I don't know, they'd call them shock mounts maybe. I don't know what it would be called, but they're basically two hard rubber pieces that stick out so that if somebody does hit you, it doesn't hit the metal of the bumper. And I'm looking as I'm backing up, and I didn't realize those two 6-inch, 8-inch things were protruding out, and it was just hitting the guy's plastic license plate cover. And it wasn't enough to set his alarm off or anything like that. Now, those people, they park there, and all day long, they have apartments upstairs. All day long, they come running down. They pay their $12, put it on the dash, then they go back upstairs. 2 hours later, they got to come back down and do it again. They do it all day long.
Isn't that outrageous?
It is.
It's a way to live that I just don't know if I could get used to.
And some places you have to do alternate side parking in the city. And I had a friend who lived down there on 21st Street, and he would have to, they'd all, because you want to get the place, so they'd all be ready to go at like midnight, run down to their cars, and everybody would try to go to the other side of the street and grab the parking
It's like a big rush, right?
It is. It's a race before
Wow.
somebody else gets there. But anyway, it was quite an exciting adventure. And, ultimately, as my wife said, it's not really us, but ultimately both disasters worked out.
Yeah,
and actually worked out for the better. I mean, they brought the people to help us take everything upstairs. And, hey, having an elevator when you move into an apartment is a pretty cool thing.
Absolutely.
And then the parking situation ultimately ended. The guy was really helpful.
The pros and cons of upstate versus downstate, right?
Completely.
You don't get the elevator to carry your stuff up. You got to do the stairs. However, you don't have to run down the stairs every 2 hours to move your vehicle.
I would give up the elevator.
Yes.
I mean, to know that you don't have to worry about parking the extended van, right?
Right.
So it is what it. And I could find two people to help us carry stuff upstairs. That's easy. I would, and it's a completely different world,
man. But that whole thing, like yesterday, I'll be honest, I took the dog for a brief walk. I mean, it was cold, but she had to get out and do her thing. So I just took her for a little down the road. But otherwise, I was tucked into the couch all day long. I mean, from 12:30 on. There was no moving cars, none of that. And to have to do that every 2 hours is kind of frustrating. But it's free on Sunday. I guess you would get the free pass on Sunday.
That's true.
You wouldn't have to do it.
That is true. You do get the extra on Sundays, but that's about it. But I have to say that and you're moving into an apartment, so there's no internet, there's no television yet, and there's a Bills game. So I just worked to be able to figure out, and ultimately found a way to get the game on. So
Nice.
And
Laptop or TV?
Laptop, HDMI cord into the TV.
There you go.
So had the full
You're
flat
resourceful.
screen TV.
I've seen you at the Stanley doing special broadcasts.
Yeah, believe me, I was not going to be watching that on my laptop. We were going to watch that on TV. And then listen to the Giants game on the way home, which was, I thought for sure that was going to go to overtime.
And again, the first half, the way they moved the ball, first of all, the Giants' line was great. Barkley, they marched right down the field and tied the game, and Barkley had like a 15-yard run. He ultimately got a second touchdown later in the game. They gave Daniel Jones some time. I know the Minnesota defense kind of stepped up a little bit in the second half. They were pressuring Danny Jones, but they were not covering receivers, and it was like every time he dropped back, there was a guy who was open by 20 yards, and they were running all over. I can't remember the last time I saw the Giants offense move the ball that well with Danny Dimes under center, other than that first game he played at Tampa Bay when he was scrambling all over the field. But excited, really excited to get the win. So many times your team disappoints.
I know that, yeah.
As a Giants fan, I'm in the situation where I didn't expect much from them. It was a bonus to make the playoffs, and then we got a first-round upset win. Unfortunately, we might get slaughtered this weekend against Philadelphia.
Yeah, well,
but can't have it all. Well, we've done much more than I expected this year.
What is the opening line, Dave? You ought to look at that. What is the line on the Philadelphia New York game? That'll be pretty interesting.
I can look it up.
High school football. Texas high school football coach is on leave now. Can we stay with football?
Yes.
Please. After
Please.
some of his players needed medical attention, and some were actually hospitalized. You know how coaches will punish a team or punish a player, and what's the first thing they do? What's the big, quick go-to punishment?
Well, you get taken out of the game or you can't play, right?
In this case, it would be a practice punishment. So in practice,
you got to run laps.
You got to run laps, or you get down and you do push-ups, one or the other.
Yeah.
In this case, it was push-ups. Coach John Harrell had his players do. How many do you think is a fair punishment?
For what was the crime?
Push-ups. I don't know the crime at this point.
I mean, boy, 20, drop and give me 20 is the popular saying, but I would say altogether if you're punishing them, I don't know, maybe 50 push-ups.
He made them all finish 400.
Holy cow.
Yeah, that's a pretty big punishment. But, Texas football, high school football is a big deal. Friday Night Lights, that's all in Texas. So John Harrell had his players do 400 push-ups during the workout, and some parents had a fit over it. Others, however, did not and have defended the coach. Here's the team captain, Brady Luff, and his mother defending the coach on this 400 push-up punishment.
He's treated us with nothing but respect, and he loves every single one of us like his own.
So if anything was going on with this situation that I thought these kids were being harmed, I would have been the first person up at the principal's office or wherever I need to go to have this shut down.
Meanwhile, I'd like to see that woman do 400 push-ups.
Yeah.
Right? That's a lot of push-ups.
It is a lot of push-ups. But I will say this, though, and, the high school players are only like what? I mean, they're all in the 100s, right? So this isn't like some giant NFL offensive lineman trying to do 20 push-ups, which you probably couldn't do. But I don't know. 400 does seem excessive to me. So basically they're saying, what, you're going to work the kids to death? You're going to.
So, the school, well, some needed medical attention. Some had to go to the hospital. There were players, it says that some players needed medical attention. Some were hospitalized.
Wow.
And then you have the mother whose son apparently is okay with it and did all right with the 400 push-ups. She's like, I don't see what the problem is. What's wrong with these little wusses?
Wow.
Get out there and do your push-ups, you little brat. And, so the coach has the school has put the coach on leave. But don't you know who your coach is?
Yeah.
He's like, this is the Bobby Knight of high school football. I mean, players when Bobby Knight got in trouble, the players all defended. The families all defended Bobby Knight.
Huh.
You know what you're getting. You know exactly what you're getting. This is Bobby Knight, and I'm sure this coach is known for the same type of thing. An animal activist in England going completely crazy on a woman who is legally fishing. She was showing off a big one when this lady interrupted her video. Apparently, this is kind of like a little bit of a save the fish moment here. Save the fishes. Here we go.
God, you are disgusting. Put that bloody thing back in the water if it's not dead already. Put it back. You are disgusting. You are a disgrace. I hope that's recorded because you are an absolutely bloody disgrace. It's a fish. Put it back in the water. Are you trying to kill it?
It's a fishery.
You are a whore. And you should...
People go fishing, darling.
You know who does We Don't Need No Education?
Pink Floyd?
Pink Floyd. When Pink Floyd does, you can't get the bone without the pudding. It sounds exactly, you could take that audio and insert it in there and people wouldn't even know.
What's the other one? Bring Out Your Dead. That's what I was thinking of.
That's another one. You're right.
That's funny.
Sad news occurred on Friday night, ladies and gentlemen, when someone in Maine, it looks like, has stolen from all of us the joy of watching that billion-dollar lottery prize grow.
Oh, yes.
Here's Tanya J. Powers standing by right now from Fox News. Tanya, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
So it's true. It wasn't you. Someone has won the big drawing on Friday.
Well, since I don't live in Maine, you're exactly right. That's where the winning ticket was sold. It was the jackpot worth $1.35 billion. It had been 25 drawings. This is the 26th drawing that it has been building since mid-October. That if that person opts for the cash option, it's $724.6 million.
Wow!
If it's in a lump sum situation,
that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like there was just one winner, right? Only one winner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The winning ticket was sold at the Hometown Gas and Grill in Lebanon, Maine, according to the state lottery officials. It's not clear yet. I'm not sure if Maine is one of those states where you have to come forward and you can't, keep it a secret. There's different states have the different ways of, handling their, thing. Some states say you can, keep your identity secret. You don't have to tell everybody. And then others are like, nope, we're going to trot you out with the big check. Everybody's going to know.
And it's in the fine print. It's in the fine print on the ticket that says, you got to be, your name becomes public. If you can keep your name private, but you won't get the money. So, of course, you got to go public. I think New York is one of those states where you have to go public, right?
I believe it is.
Yeah.
I didn't look it up. I mean, clearly I didn't expect that I would win this money. So I didn't really spend a lot of time looking just to see if this is going to be one of those you have to tell everybody state. But
it's so crazy the odds against winning, I mean, are just so astronomical. Yet we play because somebody's going to win eventually. You got to take
For instance,
you got to take a shot.
I want to say jackpot, Powerball jackpot is 1 in 292 million.
1 in 292 million for Powerball. And by the way, Powerball tonight is at $416 million.
Hey, I'll take it.
I mean, exactly. I'm not going to turn that down.
Chump change, Tanya. Just chump change. Who'd play for that kind of money? For God's sakes. Yeah, I love these people. Okay, interesting stuff, Tanya. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Sure.
Have a great day. Tanya J. Powers from Fox News.
There's a couple of thoughts on this whole thing about going public, that you have to go public or you have to appear at a press conference and snap a photo with Yolanda Vega or whoever's filling in that day or whoever the new main person is. But it's just, look, I understand it from the standpoint of it can't be a secret winner every time, because then people will they'll lose faith and not buy tickets because they'll go, well, we don't even know who the winner is. They could just be pocketing the money themselves. On the other side of the coin, though, think of the number of people who come out of the woodwork to either try to extort, blackmail, call in a favor, or you name it, for every billionaire who pops up or a multimillionaire. You got that family, cousin that you haven't seen in 20 years.
People you've not seen for years are there with their hand out, and you can afford it. You just won $700 million.
And everybody's got a sad story, and they only want to see, to them, they don't understand. They understand, but they only want a piece. Like you said, you've got
It's a little piece,
720
yeah.
million.
You're not even going to notice it's gone.
You don't need this 2
Yeah.
million. You can get by without that, but it's 50 people asking. Go ahead.
And
sorry.
unfortunately, when you give to those people, they're like the cat you fed on your front door.
Yes.
They just don't go away. They keep coming back for more. How about the story? I mean, all the craziness in the world doesn't stop at our borders. We deal with it as well here, like in New Hartford at Applebee's. Did you see the story over the weekend?
Wild, man.
What is going on? And Applebee's but it did have a good ending, though, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
An Applebee's worker was slashed in the face by a man with a knife, and then a diner ended up stepping in. Esteban Padron, 28 years old, according to New Hartford police, entered the Applebee's on Commercial Drive in New Hartford right after 6:30 and started fighting and arguing with workers. Workers recognized Padron because he had previously been at that Applebee's and was asked to leave before because of bad behavior. He was asked to leave, and then he started fighting with workers, according to police. He ended up going behind the bar and then picked up a steak knife, probably used to cut the limes and the lemons, right? Picked up a steak knife and started slashing a worker in the face. In one case, one of his swings cut the worker right in the face. And another worker received non-life-threatening injuries, according to police, during the fight. That's when it all happened. Someone eating inside the restaurant, another patron, decided he'd seen enough, and he was carrying. He had a pistol permit, legally carrying a gun. He pulled his gun and then ordered the man to the floor and to release the knife, and the man did it. Now, what I worry about is if the man didn't do it,
right,
and he started coming towards the guy with the gun, with the knife, the guy would have had to have shot him. And now you're inside the store, inside the restaurant. I mean, but you'd have no choice. You'd have to shoot him.
Right.
But luckily that didn't happen. The man got down onto the ground, and the man with the gun stood over top of him and held him at gunpoint until police arrived.
I love it. Love it.
Great story.
Yeah, I'm sorry that somebody got hurt, but nice to see somebody, a stranger, kind of step up, and certainly, obviously, a gun owner. And they always say, right, the 99% of us, the honest gun owners and the law-abiding gun owners, certainly it seems like that this person saved somebody from more serious injury, because who knows what this guy would have done.
No doubt about it, yeah. Utica police say they're searching for a man who they say burglarized 2 homes and sexually assaulted a woman and a 15-year-old girl on Saturday night. It started just before 7 p.m. on Saturday. A 15-year-old girl returned to her home on South Street and found a man in a bedroom. This according to a release from the Utica PD. The man saw the girl and chased her, holding her down on the ground, on the couch, actually. The man placed a hand over her mouth and threatened to kill her if she moved before sexually assaulting her. The girl managed to get free and run away. When the police arrived, the man was gone. Police then received a call that a home on Hilton Ave had also been broken into. A 67-year-old woman was asleep on the couch in her home when a man entered her home and started going upstairs. She yelled at the man, who then approached and sexually assaulted her. The woman managed to get away and run to a neighbor's house where she called 911. And do we have the ring photo up on our site right now?
We don't have the ring photo up yet, no.
Police have released a ring photo of the perp, the alleged person, and it's a pretty good shot where if you look at it and you know this person, you might actually recognize them. I believe in this case, where did I get this story from? This is Syracuse.com has the picture. So it's out there. A Syracuse judge has ruled that vaccines, that the state overstepped when it came to health workers during COVID. They overstepped their authority. Now, this is the Judge Gerard Neary ruled the Governor Kathy Hochul and the state's health department overstepped their authority by sidestepping the legislature and making permanent the mandate meant to limit transmission of COVID in hospitals and healthcare facilities. This is an interesting case, because what they're saying here is the state did not overstep when Cuomo did this and he had the emergency order. Remember, there was that executive order allowing him to basically the legislature said, do what you have to do to protect us. Oh, great one, Mr. Cuomo. And that's what they ended up doing. But afterwards, Hochul kept it in place. And what the judge is saying is this now should have gone back to the legislature.
Yeah, it can't be just until further notice or until forever, but just because they want to keep power.
So they're not saying that you cannot mandate a vaccine. They're saying that this has to. You got to follow the proper channels. And surprise, surprise, New York didn't. For those following along, and we know some people who love Yellowstone, Cole Hauser attended the Syracuse basketball game the other day. He plays the character Rip. Davey, do you watch this show?
Yes.
Yellowstone? Rip. He's one of the main characters.
Right.
He was at the SU game on Saturday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's the guy that always brings people.
Oh, Adam Weisman.
I am pretty sure he's the one that brought him. But there he was watching the game and saw a great game as Syracuse defeated Notre Dame.
Yeah, big win for the Orange.
What else do I have to throw at you? We have a busy morning to get to, a lot of stuff. And apparently there was a meteor that went streaking through the sky. Did anybody see it last night?
No, I didn't. But is this the one we talked about, the green one?
No,
this is something else.
No. This I think is different here. I'll let you know for sure. But it was seen by people in St. Johnsville. If you heard a big boom last night, you weren't alone. A meteor appears, KTV has this story, to have gone through the Mohawk Valley. Dr. Adam Lark, assistant professor of instruction at Hamilton College, confirmed it. It was absolutely a meteor from what I've seen in the video. Another security camera in Oppenheim also captured the bright flash, which Dr. Lark explained happens when a meteor gets too close to Earth and breaks up in the atmosphere, and that's the boom that they heard.
Wow. So the boom wasn't striking Earth, it was breaking up.
Breaking up.
Because you kind of got me nervous there for a minute.
I saw one and actually have a videotape of it, and it was moving slowly. So what they're saying is that most likely the reason it looked like it was moving slowly is because it was angled more towards coming towards us. So it looked like it was moving slowly when in reality it probably was not moving slowly at all. In fact, they moved very, very quickly. And that, I think they call that a fireball. And I don't know how that's any different from meteor. But it, clearly you could see the fire on this thing.
Boy, that's incredible. It's
Yeah.
kind of scary, but I just love to, I don't know. It's kind of one of those near misses. You can see the magic. I love looking up in the sky. Sometimes you'll see whether it's a fireball or a meteor.
Yeah.
That's kind of a cool thing, but you never want it to, land in your backyard.
You're right, or on top of your house, right? That would be terrible. And then I thought this was kind of an interesting story out of Syracuse, where deputies there are saying a Syracuse police officer is being charged with interfering with a DWI arrest. Turns out the person that was being arrested for DWI was the police officer's sister. And now the sheriff's office says that the officer interrupted a roadside test, told her to refuse all other sobriety tests, according to deputies. The officer also advised his sister to complain of pain and request to be taken to a hospital after she was arrested. Deputies said the woman initially told them, write those things down in case you ever need it.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
The deputy said the woman initially told them she wasn't injured when her car crashed into a something or other on New Year's Day. At Krause Hospital, EMS personnel admitted to injecting the woman with 2 full IV fluids in an attempt to lower her BAC level.
Wow.
Yes. So there were people working along with the police officer. Syracuse police officer Milton, according to the deputies, according to police, Syracuse police officer Milton Sustache Jr. has been suspended with pay. The sheriff's office requested a review by the Onondaga County DA's office. Around 3 a.m. on New Year's Day, the officer's sister, Tatiana Sustache, 33 of Salve, allegedly crashed her black Acura near John Glenn Boulevard in Salina. The car was in the middle of the westbound lanes, according to deputies. Deputies investigating the crash noticed she was slurring her speech.
Wow.
So there's a couple things. If you get a saline IV in your system right away to dilute the alcohol.
Wow.
Crazy. But that's you don't get away with it.
I've heard before that if you refuse the blood alcohol test, right? Don't they say you
automatically get charged with DWI?
But there must be a loophole or an end around or something if the cop is advising the sister not to.
No.
I guess if the alternative is you're definitely going to fail this test,
well,
decline the test.
It sounds like he might have known that there was an EMS worker that would be injecting, that he could get to inject with saline.
Wow.
So don't take it now. We'll get that thing lowered in the ambulance.
Wow.
I don't know.
I have to tell you, though, my favorite thing from this hour was that reenactment of Monty Python Goes Fishing. That audio is awesome. My goodness. If you missed it, we'll play it for you again next hour.
Well, listen,
classic.
It's Monday. It's Martin Luther King Day. No mail, no bank, no school, all of that. News, though, does plow forward, and it's coming up next.
I just lost... Literally, when you raised your finger, I lost every screen that I have. What happened, Smitty? Did we have a power outage?
Do you see it in there, Davey?
I have been here.
All right, then go ahead and hit it. We'll take a break. News coming up.
Hi, I'm Lynn from Warner Sales and Service. Winter in central New York can be pretty unpredictable. Snow, freezing temperatures, or hazardous road conditions. You never know what to expect. One thing you can count on, though, is that Warner Sales and Service is here to help you get through the toughest part of the year. That's why we sell and service Bobcat equipment. It's the toughest and most trusted equipment on the market. We pride ourselves on the quality of our product and, most importantly, the quality of our service. It's our job to keep your businesses up and running, and we strive to go above and beyond for each and every one of our customers. You never know what to expect during winter, but you can always depend on us at Warner Sales and Service. Stop by and see us just off Route 365 in Rome. We are Warner Sales and Service, where quality still counts.
Building relationships, building trust. Warner Sales and Service. Warner's, where quality still counts. At Warner's.
WIBX Utica Rome at 7 o'clock.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. After even more classified documents were found over the weekend at a Biden, Delaware residence, Congressman Adam Schiff tells ABC's This Week.
I'd like to know what these documents were. I'd like to know what the IC's assessment is.
Referencing an ongoing investigation into those and other documents found in the House and in an old Biden office in Washington from his days as vice president. Here's Fox's Alexandria Hoff.
Attorney General Merrick Garland announced last week Robert Hur has been appointed special counsel to investigate the documents. And House Republicans want to know why these discoveries took so long to come out publicly. Once again, who has had access to them?
After the general counsel was appointed, we still find out that President Biden's personal attorneys are still rummaging around what essentially would be a crime scene, trying to find information to turn over. So, this whole process has been handled poorly.
That's House Oversight Committee Chairman Republican James Comer. He wants a visitor's log to the Biden home as part of their investigation. Now, President Biden will attend a breakfast to honor the late Martin Luther King Jr. on this holiday, honoring him the day after going to Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta to pay tribute to the civil rights leader.
May God bless you all, and let's go find the light. We can do this.
Rescue crews in Nepal have found the black boxes from a plane crash, the cockpit voice and data recorders. Fox's Jonathan Savage.
There were 72 people on board the Yeti Airlines flight from Kathmandu to Pokhara when it crashed shortly before landing. It's Nepal's worst air disaster in 30 years. Police, military personnel and Red Cross staff still searching for bodies.
So far, 68 of the 72 have been found. There are no confirmed reports of any survivors and no word what caused the plane to go down and crash. A mafia boss who'd been on the run as a fugitive for 30 years in Italy, captured in Sicily. Matteo Messina Denaro was already convicted in absentia in dozens of murders and faces life in prison. America's listening to Fox News.
My friend had his home stolen. The crime is home title theft. It's real. It's horrendous, but it's real, and it's everywhere. Now, luckily, this was just a demo, but I saw how criminals all around the world target American homeowners, and that's why I protect my home with Home Title Lock, and you need to as well. And a thief can simply forge your signature on a legal document claiming you sold your home to them. Homeowners insurance and common identity theft programs do not protect you, but Home Title Lock does. So protect yourself. Just go to their website. It's HomeTitleLock.com/Sean, SEAN. Verify your home's title is still safely in your name. Then just register your address for a free, no-obligation home title report for your files. That is a $100 value, absolutely free. That's HomeTitleLock.com/Sean, HomeTitleLock.com/Sean, SEAN.
Good morning. We have some clouds, 15 degrees. WIBX news time is 7:03. This news update is brought to you by Baird Private Wealth Management, a strong financial partner for 100 years. Visit bairdoffices.com/Utica. A Utica man facing charges after an incident that left 2 employees at the Applebee's in New Hartford injured. Police say 28-year-old Esteban Padron entered the restaurant Saturday night and was told to leave because he had caused a previous disturbance there. Padron then allegedly grabbed a knife and slashed an employee in the face and hurt a second employee as well. A customer who is licensed to carry a gun pulled out his weapon and held Padron at gunpoint until police arrived. After being taken into custody, he was sent to a nearby hospital for a mental health evaluation. Utica police looking for a suspect who is believed to have broken into 2 homes and sexually assaulted 2 women. Police say it happened on Saturday night. They were called to a home on South Street where a 15-year-old female had returned home and found someone inside of a bedroom there. Police say the man then held the woman against her will and said that he would kill her if she moved. The male then attempted to unzip her pants and force his hands down them. The teen was able to break free and get away. She called police. Arriving officers were then alerted to a nearby location where a 67-year-old woman said she found a man inside of her home who also sexually assaulted her. She was able to get away and call 911. Utica police are looking for the suspect. A lawmaker from the Albany area is calling for CPR training to become mandatory and all youth sports coaches in New York State. Under current state education law, high school coaches must know CPR, but the bill proposed by Assemblyman Angelo Santa Barbara would require everyone who coaches children to know the life-saving technique. Recently, Damar Hamlin of the Buffalo Bills collapsed during a game and needed to be resuscitated on the field. Hamlin was released from the hospital last week and is still recovering. He got to watch Sunday's Bills-Dolphins game from the comfort of his own home. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is pledging to make a push to get Phil Washington confirmed as the new FAA administrator. Schumer says in the aftermath of recent airline troubles and technology issues that have caused headaches for many travelers, it's clear the FAA is in need of leadership. Schumer is planning to call for a hearing where members of Congress will have a chance to ask Washington questions. Washington currently works as a leader at the Denver Airport Hub. And over $1.3 billion for Mega Millions, that's the jackpot. It was won over the weekend by someone in Maine, but there's still a pretty hefty lottery prize to be won. The Powerball, now at $416 million. After no one picked all the winning numbers on Saturday in that drawing, the odds of getting all 6 numbers right is an astronomical 1 in more than 292 million. You can watch the drawing live tonight at Powerball.com. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast calling for clouds to thin through this morning. We'll have mostly sunny skies by this afternoon, a high today of 35 degrees. Overnight tonight, mostly clear skies with a low falling to 20. We have a slight chance of snow, freezing rain, and sleet before noon tomorrow. Then rain in the afternoon, a high of 35. Wednesday, chance of rain showers, otherwise cloudy, and a high of 39. Right now, we have mostly cloudy skies, 15 degrees. WIBX news time is 7:07.
All right, from the IBEW Local 43 Sports Desk, here we go. What a game yesterday as the Bills moving on to the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. After edging their AFC East rival, Miami, 34-31 in Orchard Park. It was a game and a half where the Bills were really considered to be playing pretty flat. Some interceptions, etc. But ultimately, the game came away with the Bills. That would be an awful way to end the season. Josh Allen threw for 352 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions, while adding 20 rush yards and a fumble lost, which was returned for a touchdown. Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis combined for 227 receiving yards in the victory. And the Dolphins quarterback, Skylar Thompson, completed 18 of 45 passes for 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. I got to say, though, those non-completed passes, Davey, were not his fault. I mean, they couldn't catch a ball.
All day long, off the face mask, off the chest protector, off the fingertips. Right. I mean, they were dropping balls left and right. Whoever was calling the game was noting it, too. They're like, I don't understand what's wrong with these passes.
I couldn't believe it. I got to say, if Miami played a better game, they'd have blown away the Bills yesterday.
Are you talking on radio or TV?
TV.
It was Nance and Romo.
Yeah, it was Romo.
Yeah.
By the way, did you see the Romo parody commercial of what's the?
Oh, I did see that. I didn't watch it though. I saw it on.
What was that golf movie from maybe the 70s or 80s?
Oh, Tin Cup?
No, with Bill Murray.
Oh, Caddyshack.
There's a Caddyshack promo with Romo as Bill Murray.
Yeah.
It was really funny.
I saw it, and he's doing a Bill Murray impression, which in that character was really good. The Giants moving on to the divisional round of the NFC playoffs after earning a 31-24 victory over the Minnesota Vikings. Wow. Daniel Jones made his postseason debut and threw for 301 yards and 2 touchdowns. This game, really, the Giants had it in hand all game long.
They did. It was great. It was really great.
Wild Card Weekend lived up to its name in the NFL. The first round of the playoffs kicked off on Saturday when the 49ers took down Seattle. But then the Jaguars made history later in the night following their 31-30 win over the Chargers. Jacksonville was down 27-0.
I don't know how Justin Herbert allows that to happen. I blame it on the coach there, but having a solid quarterback like that, how they couldn't get another. And I know they missed a field goal, but I'm just shocked. 27-0, and Jacksonville comes back. What's his face threw 4 picks?
Trevor Lawrence threw 4 interceptions, and Asante Samuel Jr. had 3 interceptions to pick him
and
off.
They lost the game,
which set a playoff record.
Incredible,
wow.
Just incredible.
Now the first round concludes tonight with a Monday night playoff game. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers welcome the Dallas Cowboys to Tampa. What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, I think it should be an interesting game. I'll tell you, I do think that the Dallas Cowboys come away victorious. I like them tonight. I don't think Brady and the Bucs have looked good for a while now. You asked me about the line. Right now, the Buccaneers are 2.5-point favorites, so less than a field goal. I think I like the Cowboys tonight, and you asked about the line as well. The Giants-Eagles line is a touchdown. The Jacksonville-Kansas City line is 8.5. I feel like both of those are low.
What about the Bills?
It's 4. Buffalo's -4. They'll play next Sunday at 3.
Let's see. A few other things of note here. In the AHL, the Comets split a pair over the weekend. On Friday night, they lost to Providence 3-1 and then beat Bridgeport 5-1 on Saturday. Utica University Pioneers beat Newman, swept them over the weekend. 5-0 at the Adirondack Bank Center on Friday night. 6-2 the final on Saturday. The Pioneers will play at Lebanon Valley this weekend, Friday and Saturday. I should mention that the Comets play a matinee Martin Luther King Jr. Day today in Syracuse at 1 p.m. And tonight at 7, big game, ACC game. Syracuse takes on Miami. This is at Miami, right?
Right.
Syracuse at Miami. That'll be on the ACC network tonight at 7 o'clock.
The Comets, by the way, that loss on Friday, they saw their 12-game point streak come to an end, which was a nice run for the Comets, and they turned it around and picked up a victory and restarted a point streak. I'm sorry, Andrew sending me photos of Vikings memes this morning, which I'm certainly enjoying.
And I had a trip.
Listen to this one. I took me a minute to get it. You see, it's the purple Vikings
yeah.
logo. It said, if you choke this much, you'd be purple too. Love it. Sorry, go ahead, Smitty.
And I took a trip down to Hamilton to Cottrell Court on Saturday. Mr. Jim Rondinelli and I checked out Colgate and Bucknell. And they ended up winning 71-65.
Yeah,
Colgate's pretty good. They're
Colgate's
6-0.
looking good. Yeah, 6-0 they are. Okay, River Hills Properties, the fastest growing real estate company in Central New York. Why do they grow quickly? Why have they grown to where they are today? It's all about the services provided, and it's every one of their agents provide these services that other real estate agencies do not. Sure, if you're selling a really $1 million property or a $500,000, $600,000 property, you'll get these services because the commission is big. Other agents will come in and say, yeah, we'll do that for you, whatever you want, as long as we can list this house. But if you have, say, a $200,000 home or a $300,000 home, you won't get the services. But at River Hills, you will, because everybody does. It's just the way they do business. They provide a book, 40 to 100 pages, filled with details about the home. In addition, River Hills Properties goes out of their way to assist from the very beginning. Every time your house is shown, your listing agent is there. Every time the house is shown, your listing agent is there to make sure the lights are on, to make sure the property is ready, to make sure you're putting your best foot forward. That's the River Hills way. In Barneville, Little Falls, Utica, and all of upstate New York, it's River Hills Properties. Online, riverhillspropertiesllc.com. Call 315-896-1009. Remember, nobody sells homes like River Hills Properties.
The IBEW Local 43 and the National Electrical Contractors Association have been a part of Central New York for over 100 years. The IBEW state-of-the-art training facility offers classroom instruction as well as everyday on-the-job construction training. From the Carrier Dome to our local hospitals, malls, schools, and city buildings, Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 will continue to help light, power, and grow our community.
Are you ready to make the most important decision for your child's future? Some are easy, some are not. Some make all the difference, like choosing Notre Dame schools. Offering grades pre-K through 12, your child will be ready to learn and thrive in a challenging atmosphere surrounded by great teachers and the most current technology. Notre Dame offers small class sizes, high academic standards, and spiritual fulfillment. At Notre Dame, we foster an environment of diversity and community. Students feel supported and more confident in achieving their goals. Our students learn from each other and are challenged to grow and develop their innate talents. Notre Dame is faith-based, but everyone is welcome. If you have higher expectations for your child, Notre Dame offers a higher level experience. If you're ready to launch your child's future into the most successful career path and build the next generation of leaders, call today for a tour or visit NotreDameUtica.org. Notre Dame schools, ready to learn, destined to lead.
Make a New Year's resolution that's easy to keep. Help protect your identity and finances with LifeLock Identity Theft Protection. LifeLock detects identity threats you may miss on your own. And if you become a victim, LifeLock will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses. But LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. Join now and save up to 25% off your first year. Go to LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS.
If you're like most Americans, you can see things are out of control. Global problems have local consequences, too many of them. And if the next news headline spins us into chaos, you'd better be ready. Grocery store supply chains are only as strong as their weakest link. Don't wait for them to break. Today's the day to secure emergency food for everyone in your family. My Patriot Supply is America's largest preparedness company. Our specially packaged and delicious food stays fresh for up to 25 years in storage. It'll be there when you need it. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and pick up several emergency food kits. There are a dozen different sizes that average over 2,000 calories per day. As we all know, calories equals energy equals survival. And as you'd expect from a true preparedness company, our food kits are in stock and ship quickly. Those who know what's coming are preparing today. Go to mypatriotsupply.com. mypatriotsupply.com.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
717 and Evan Brown on the line right now from Fox News. There is a security concern at University of Florida over social media platform TikTok. Evan Brown, good morning. What do we know?
Good morning. Yeah, so I think a lot of people have heard the bells ringing here that TikTok is this incredibly popular app that a lot of younger people use to kind of entertain themselves. But it is owned by a company that is basically owned by the Chinese Communist Party, and there are security concerns with the app in terms of it stealing data and being used to steal information and patented information and things like that.
Right.
So there's concern that from the University of Florida that it would be used in the same manner on campus. It could steal either personnel data or student data, but also it could steal things that the university is working on that could be sensitive or secret or whatnot. And, a lot of research gets done at our universities, whether it's into medicine or other, energy science and whatnot and the like. So there is a real concern among the University of Florida that TikTok would be used to somehow damage the campus that way. So they've told people not a good idea to have this on campus.
I got to say, you say that young people are glued to it. My wife, who is not young, Evan, I'm going to tell you.
I'm going to tell her you said that.
She is a huge TikTok fan.
Well, then, therefore, as I said, if you are a TikTok user, you are a young person. So, therefore, she is a young person.
She is young.
So
there you go.
Yes.
You need to learn what I'm doing right here. You
I
have to
like
be
it.
very careful in your speech.
I like it. You do realize it's Martin Luther King Day, and she teaches. I realize she's not awake right now. I'm pretty brave when she's sleeping.
You think that she's not listening, but she's listening.
You're right. You're right. I should be very careful. Taking note. Evan Brown, as always, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care.
Have a great day. I do find it really fun. We are all over this TikTok story. Like, we are going to make sure our nation is secure. Now, give me all of your medicines, all of our prescriptions, China, right? I mean, think of the things we get from China. They just cut us off.
Yeah.
Look what happened during the pandemic with masks. We couldn't get face masks here. There weren't enough for hospitals. We are going to make sure we are protected. We are standing strong against China.
Yeah, I feel like they wouldn't cut us off because we give them so much money. I mean, geez, we buy everything.
One would think, right?
Everything
right.
from them.
Right.
But you're right. When there's a problem over there, we have an issue over here. And you talk about security. If we don't trust our government with with apps, entertainment apps, how can we trust them for medicine and, baby formula and diapers and children's toys and
all
name
of
it?
a good part of your TVs are coming from China. Some even believe that there might be a camera spying on you.
Could be.
I mean, I don't know if that has any truth or if it's just craziness, but we are standing strong on some things.
Yes.
I thought this was interesting, and it's in a commercial that's playing during football. It's the Wright brothers. Have you seen the spot?
No.
And it might be an insurance commercial where all of a sudden they've done their miraculous flight. The two of them are on this old plane, and it looks like it's old video, and they're fighting over who gets the armrest and the seat, in the pilot's seat, who gets the armrest, like you would on an airplane. I guess it's whoever gets there first, right?
Probably.
And then all of a sudden, Wilbert, whatever, he pulls over a snack tray and he starts eating peanuts. How'd you get peanuts? It's a funny commercial.
I got to see it. It sounds funny.
It runs during NFL games and all over. Anyway, a flight attendant has stepped up to say she's going to settle the argument. On the one thing that, let's start with who gets the armrest. Does the middle seat person on a plane get both armrests?
No.
Here's what the flight attendant has to say about this.
If you are sitting in the middle, you get both armrests.
No,
don't
you
be
don't.
that person who's sitting at the window, who gets the window plus this outer armrest and then takes the middle armrest. Middle gets middle armrest. If you're sitting at the window, you get to control the window panel. If you're not, unfortunately, you don't. They get to say. You can ask nicely, but if they don't want to, they don't have to. If it's not takeoff or landing, you get to put your chair back. You paid for that seat. Airlines design it so you can lay your chair back, put your chair back so you're more comfortable.
I like on some of those budget airlines, the person in front of you they recline their seat, and your laptop practically decapitates you.
Yes.
But, they have the right to do it. What are you going to do? Just like that kid behind you has the right to keep kicking your seat.
Maybe I'm too big, but I don't know how much. Maybe it's just the companies I travel with, but it's usually Southwest or something. But when I recline my seat, it doesn't go back more than an inch and a half. I'm telling you.
There was a story over the weekend. Many airlines are getting rid of the reclining seat, period.
Yeah, because it's causing issues.
Right. Now, you can get one if you want to buy business class or first class, or in some cases you can buy extra leg room where that might recline. But they're into this mode where they charge you for every little upgrade.
Yeah.
Can we stay with airlines? Would you like to get special treatment on your next flight?
Sure. How do I do it?
A former flight attendant is telling you exactly how.
Being a flight attendant is exhausting. You're always in different time zones, waking up crazy hours, and dealing with angry customers. So I promise you, the next time you fly, if you want special treatment from the flight attendants, this is all you have to do. $5 Starbucks gift cards. It means the world to us when a customer gives us this. And if you don't have gift cards, you can just pick up some candy bars, lip balm, anything, and give them to your flight attendants. We will know where you're sitting, and we will know what you look like, and the whole crew will make sure you are taken care of.
That's cool.
You know how you'll the Amazon delivery person, or even U.S. Postal, whatever, you come up to the doorstep and they have a box of treats and waters out on the front porch.
Yeah.
It's the same type of thing. You get the best service from your Amazon delivery person if you're giving them treats. Wow. And the same thing would happen on airlines. We had a friend that would bring sweet corn to Shea Stadium, a big bag of fresh sweet corn, and hand it to the usher, and the usher would usher us all over the place, all in front seats. If somebody would come, they'd move us out of the way and give us new front seats.
Really?
Yeah. Sweet corn.
Wow.
Yeah.
Boy, in the city, they don't get that treat that much, huh?
Today, I don't know that you'd be able to get the bag of sweet corn past security.
Well, I will say this. Look, there was a time, this was maybe eight or 10 years ago. We had really good seats for this game. We were kind of sitting down the first base line where you'll see a lot of foul balls go, where the corner kind of juts out there.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're sitting over there, and this guy next to us has his, 8 or 10-year-old daughter. And he opens up this bag, and he brought like a little travel sack, a cooled travel sack. He had Jell-Os. He had puddings. He had, like the little fruit snacks that you rip open, the plastic containers. He had sandwiches, bottled water. He had forks and spoons in there for his daughter to eat. So we got to talking to him, and he goes, look, there's a certain entrance on the back. He goes, you give the guy a little, you slip him $5 or something, he lets you right through. And I thought that was cool, with a young child. Like, hey, there's a way around this.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, I thought to myself, well, what if he's got a bomb in that lunch bag?
You're right.
That kind of made me nervous.
He'd let him right through
for $5.
Yeah. On a train, in the major, like if you're taking a train to New York City, they have what is called red cap service.
Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
No.
It is, you slip them $20, and they'll take you and you'll reach your. They'll grab your luggage. They'll take you down a back way. Load you onto the train half an hour before everybody else. You don't have to wait in line.
All you have to do is wear a red cap?
You have to ask for red cap service.
Okay.
And you get special service.
Does it cost extra or no?
Tip.
Yeah.
Tip them. This is a flight attendant who says, before you go on your next flight, please heed this advice from a flight attendant in regards to personal hygiene. This is very important.
If you see someone put their nasty foot right here where you're sitting, tell them to get their foot off. It's gross. Second, don't walk around the airplane without your shoes. Oh, it's so gross. I understand sitting and taking it off still. That's a little, but walking around the airplane, guys, don't do it. I had someone clipping their fingernails and it was like, bing, bing. Don't do personal hygiene on the aircraft. Painting your fingernails, awful. And lastly, please take a shower before you get on the plane. There's nothing worse than sitting in a seat and you're sitting next to someone who has BO.
There's nothing worse than that.
Yeah, that's bad. And I couldn't imagine. I mean, yeah, we've talked about this before where, like, post-COVID people will, and I do this sometimes too. I hate to even admit to this, but it's like, I got to run out. Well, sweatpants are good enough, right? You just go everywhere in sweatpants and comfy clothes. This whole traveling thing with your feet out, like somebody needs to see that. They're going on
I
vacation,
agree.
not
You're
to
right.
hell.
You don't want to look at it. You don't want to see it. You don't want to smell it. Some people have feet that smell. Some people do not. If you know you're one of those people, protect the rest of everybody else.
Seriously.
But at the same time, nobody wants to. She's right. They don't want to see her walking around in your stocking feet or, God forbid, your bare feet around an airplane.
And then they're doing the nail clipping that on an airplane.
I was. This was a couple of months ago. We were. My wife and I were actually at a local casino, sitting at a table, and there was an aroma, a smell, a bad smell.
Oh, not like.
And I'm immediately looking down at my feet, like, did I step in something? And there was nothing on me, but you can smell it. I'm like, this smell is awful. And the person next to me, you can tell, they're kind of looking at me like that. So I immediately am like, just for the record, not me, not my wife.
Gotcha.
I'm not sure where this is coming from. And all of a sudden, the dealer took his hand and was going up to his nose and then started nodding, pointing in another direction. And I gently turned around, and sure enough, there was probably hadn't bathed, and it was awful, terrible. And you know what non-bathed, awful, terrible people do? They win. I don't get it. That just blows. Take a bath, for God's sakes. I'm the one over here taking a bath.
Superstition, Bill. You
Maybe
lost,
that's what
didn't
it
you?
is. You're right. Maybe
Hey.
that's what it is. This guy's chips piling over top of his dirty head.
The last time I won a big prize, I hadn't taken a shower. I'm
That's
never
right.
going to take
I'm
a shower
never gonna-
again.
Never going to do it again. Do you have time to hang for a few minutes? Oh, you do. All right. So let's move you to the other side. You don't have anything else there, right? Are we okay to move to 740?
Yes.
We'll do the free money question coming up in a second. Chance for you to win $100 from the Hobeika Law Firm, Joseph and Andrew Hobeika. And let's see if we can start the week off the right way here on Martin Luther King Day by giving away some money. And we'll get there coming right up. Jeff has an update on news as well. 7:30 now at WIBX.
Don't catch the wintertime blues. Swing into golf savings at 15 of the area's top courses for $75 with the Town Square 2023 Seize the Deal golf card. Yes, that's right. $75 gets you 15 rounds of golf. Some courses include Shamrock, Crystal Springs, MV Golf, Delta Knolls, Barker Brook, and more. There are a limited number of cards available, so don't delay. Get your $75 Town Square Seize the Deal golf card at seizethedeal.com.
Hi, this is Joe Cordell with the law firm Cordell & Cordell. When the prospect of divorce becomes a reality, you need a partner that you can count on. If you're a man in this situation, consider contacting Cordell & Cordell. We've helped men navigate complex legal matters for 30 years.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's New York attorneys. 518-554-0000. Online at CordellCordell.com. 100 Great Oaks Boulevard, Suite 110, Albany, New York, 12203.
We have mostly cloudy skies and 15 degrees to start. WIBX news time is 7:31. This news update is brought to you by My Carl's Epic January clearance sale. You can save up to 70% on furniture and mattresses, closeouts, one-of-a-kinds, and more. Shop My Carl's today in the New Hartford Shopping Center or Destiny USA. President Biden is urging the country to honor Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy by rising together. He made history yesterday on MLK's birthday, becoming the first sitting president to deliver remarks at the Atlanta church where Dr. King preached. California facing another round of snow and rain. The previous destructive storms across the state have already taken at least 19 lives. Some areas have already received their annual rainfall in the last 2 weeks for the year, with sinkholes and mudslides appearing in many areas. The NFL's divisional playoff weekend schedule is now set. Saturday's AFC action will feature top-seeded Kansas City hosting Jacksonville. In the NFC, the Giants will visit the top-seeded Eagles. The AFC's Buffalo Bills take on the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday in upstate New York. And the San Francisco 49ers will host the winner of Monday's NFC matchup between the Dallas Cowboys and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We'll have that game for you right here tonight on WIBX, coverage beginning at 7:30. Administrators in Newport News, Virginia, have decided to close an elementary school for another week. This comes after a teacher was allegedly shot by a 6-year-old student at the campus back on January 6th. The elementary school was closed all last week, and it will remain closed at least through this coming Friday. A Georgia football player and recruiting staff member are dead after they were killed in a car crash early Sunday. The school confirming that Devin Willock and Chandler LaCroix were killed. An initial investigation showed the vehicle struck 2 power poles, then several trees. Willock played in all 15 of Georgia's football games this year as they won a national championship. And SpaceX celebrating another successful launch ahead of its most powerful rocket. The Falcon Heavy is what it's called. It blasted off Sunday evening from Florida's Kennedy Space Center following a 24-hour delay. Powered by 3 Falcon 9 boosters, the 230-foot rocket carried a pair of communication satellites into orbit on a classified military mission. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast calling for skies to clear up as we get through the morning here. Mostly sunny by this afternoon, a high reaching 35 degrees. Staying with clear skies through the overnight tonight, an overnight low of 20 degrees. Slight chance of snow, freezing rain, and sleet tomorrow morning before noon. Then in the afternoon, rain showers with a high of 35. Wednesday, chance of rain showers again, otherwise mostly cloudy, and a high of 39. Right now, we have mostly clear skies, 16 degrees. WIBX News Time is 7:35.
So, I want to tell you about the year of giveaways at New York Sash, if you're okay with that. Every month in 2023, New York Sash will be giving away a prize in their showroom. And right now, you can enter to win a 6-month membership to the Mill Fitness Center in New York Mills. It's the Mill Family Fitness Center in New York Mills. New York Sash wants to help someone start off the year right. If you're looking to improve your well-being, stop in to the New York Sash showroom and enter to win the January showroom giveaway, a 6-month fitness membership valued at over $200. While you're there, you can improve your home as well with energy-efficient windows and doors. We just had over in the springtime, and we'll do it again. We did half the house in the spring. We'll do the second half coming up this spring. And it made all the difference in the world. You can open the windows. You can close them. They're beautiful. They changed the look of the front of our house, did it not?
Yeah, it looked really sharp. It was noticeable when I pulled in that day. I was like, wow, the house looks great.
Because we added the raised grids, so it looks like the windows have been there for 100 years, yet they're brand spanking new, and they look just so pristine. And, those will never peel or fade or any of that. It's all there, and it's a lifetime warranty backed by New York Sash. So improve your energy efficiency with windows and doors at New York Sash. Even take advantage of the New York Sash buy 2, get 1 free sale, which is going on right now. No purchase necessary. Just stop into the showroom on Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro, New York Sash, and enter to win their showroom January prize.
Are you sick of being just a number or doing a mindless job? Become a craftsman in a trade. Become an IBEW electrician. The IBEW and the Electrician Training Alliance will give you all the tools necessary at their state-of-the-art training facility. Earn as you learn. Paid training while you get your certification. What are you waiting for? Become an IBEW Local 43 electrician. Call or go online today to learn more. Find your career at IBEW and let the Electrician Training Alliance light up your future.
Hi, this is Frank with Northland Trailers located on River Road in Marcy. At Northland, we offer a full line of utility, snowmobile, enclosed, dump, and equipment trailers. We can also custom design a trailer to meet your specific needs. In addition to trailers, we have a full parts showroom, and we service what we sell. Our family business is proud to have been serving our community for over 4 decades. Northland Trailers is located right outside the city of Utica. So swing on down and let's talk towing.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver." Unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Are you ready to make the most important decision for your child's future? Some are easy, some are not. Some make all the difference, like choosing Notre Dame schools. Offering grades pre-K through 12, your child will be ready to learn and thrive in a challenging atmosphere surrounded by great teachers and the most current technology. Notre Dame offers small class sizes, high academic standards, and spiritual fulfillment. At Notre Dame, we foster an environment of diversity and community. Students feel supported and more confident in achieving their goals. Our students learn from each other and are challenged to grow and develop their innate talents. Notre Dame is faith-based, but everyone is welcome. If you have higher expectations for your child, Notre Dame offers a higher level experience. If you're ready to launch your child's future into the most successful career path and build the next generation of leaders, call today for a tour or visit NotreDameUtica.org. Notre Dame schools, ready to learn, destined to lead.
Hi, I'm Ray Durso of the Genesis Group. It's time to raise the bar for the Mohawk Valley region, and with your support of the Genesis Group annual appeal, we can help make that happen. The Genesis Group is the Mohawk Valley source for news and information, views and opinions, community projects, and regional events. Genesis believes that our community is ready for new levels of success. We are welcoming new companies and seeing local businesses expanding. Our region is on the rise. During this season of giving, I invite you to support our annual fund appeal. Your financial assistance will help fund programs and events in education, healthcare, community and economic development, and so much more. Our Board of Trustees have all made a contribution. They join me in asking you to do the same. For more information about the Genesis Group and to make your pledge, please visit our website, thegenesisgroup.org. Thank you.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
God, you are disgusting. Put that bloody thing back in the water if it's not dead already. Put it back. You are disgusting. You are a disgrace. I hope that's recorded because you are an absolutely bloody disgrace. It's a fish. Put it back in the water. Are you trying to kill it?
It's a fishery.
You're a whore. And you should
go fishing, darling.
That's a woman in Great Britain being yelled at by an activist because she's fishing.
How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat?
That's right. I believe it's stuffing, but you're close. Anyway, you're right. That's kind of what it's like.
Yeah, boy, I'll tell you. That sounds like it. Also sounds like a bit from Monty Python, maybe.
It does.
Throw that bloody thing in there.
I love it.
If it's not dead.
Very good. Here's a guitar. This happened late last week in New Mexico. Guitar Center employee physically removing a belligerent drunk who was threatening the customers. As they drag him out, he actually grabs an acoustic guitar and smashes it in the doorway.
I thought you were going to say he played a little ditty.
A little ditty about Jack and Diane fighting in the store. Here we go.
Shirley, get the guitar away. Good. All right, you're going to leave right now. Do you understand me? Do you understand me? You are leaving this store right now. Get up. Get up.
Good job, dude.
And if you hear that little bang at the end, that is they smash him into a sign head first.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, shy of smashing him headfirst into a sign, that sounds like a trip with my son and I to Walmart.
There you go.
Get up off the floor. You're leaving right now.
That's right. Here we go. In studio right now is the head of the Utica GOP, Chairman Mike Gentile. Good morning, Michael. Good morning. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Okay, we're getting to that point where we now have 2 Republican candidates.
It's getting real.
For mayor of Utica. It's getting real. I'll start by saying, is that the end of the lineup?
It could be.
Okay.
It might not be. So the thing is, we can't stop anybody, right? So everybody has the right to, and there's a petition process. And the party's role is to find the best candidates we possibly can and put together a good ticket that everybody can be proud of. But if people want to continue to get in or have interest, there's still time.
Yeah. Although it is early this year.
It is early.
Because the primary comes early.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's been a few years now where we've adjusted to that. We've been through snowstorms. I believe it might have been the first year where COVID
signatures,
hit. Yeah. So that March is cold weather.
That is funny. I mean, not funny, but to think that you got to go marching through the streets of Utica when a lot of times at this time of year, unfortunately, sidewalks aren't shoveled, etc.
I mean,
you're walking in the street.
You think about Utica. Imagine what it's like in the rural areas.
Yeah.
Where they don't even have sidewalks.
Yeah. At least I guess in some cases they'll drive door to door because the houses are so far away. But yeah, I mean, sometimes with the issue with the sidewalks. So let me ask you this. When somebody screens before the committee, is that the full committee or is it just leadership of the local committee? Talk about how that process works.
So all of the city races, citywide races, go to the full committee, and then the individual wards will go in front of their wards for screening. We are going to do an executive committee with all the ward chairs just to do kind of a pre-screening, but the full city committee will have the endorsement power for all the citywide races, and then the wards will have the individual council seats.
Ultimately, though, it's the full committee that decides?
Yes.
And what are they, just a simple majority, 51%?
So it's based off of a weighted vote, and then, the majority of the weighted vote will be the endorsed candidate.
What is the pre-screening? What is that?
It's just an opportunity to just start getting those questions answered. People can then go back to their wards. The ward chairs can go back to their wards and have conversations and just give an expectation of what to see at the full city meeting.
There are 2 Republican announced candidates. Have they screened at this point?
They have not screened yet.
Is there like a certain date or a certain time frame you got to hit with that?
Nope. So, I mean, before the signature time, we are going to do the first round of screening in January coming up, and then the full city committee will meet in February.
Now, whether this is the committee's opinion or yours, what are the things that you're looking for? I mean, obviously, we're not building border walls here, right, et cetera, some of the national issues. What are the things in Utica
I think the first question is, do you support unequivocally Donald Trump? I believe that's question 2, right?
That should not be the first question.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay. All right.
No. So
should it be a question at all at this point?
I do not believe so.
Okay. All right.
I am looking.
Is it a question?
I am looking for the person.
Is it a question that will be asked?
I am sure it will be.
Yes.
But I am looking for people that want to make a commitment and do what's best for Utica. I'm not looking for somebody that's going to take national politics and trickle it into our Utica politics. I want to know what their plan is to carry on projects, get things done, keep fiscally responsible, and represent us the right way. That is 100% the main priority. I am grateful and proud for people that want to come out and run for office. It is hard. I've done it. It's a huge commitment. And anybody that wants to take that leap, I'm going to clap my hands for. And now it's just, now that we have people, now it's trying to find out who the best person, who has the best plan moving forward to keep Utica a city that I love and hopefully they love, or else I wouldn't want them to be our candidate anyways, and getting them to the finish line.
There's been a lot of progress over the last 10, 11 years with Mayor Robert Palmieri, and whether or not he gets full credit for that or not, whatever. I guess everybody's got their own opinion on that. But it would be if a Republican's elected mayor, it would obviously be a change. Are there obviously there's progress that needs to continue, but are there issues that the city has been involved in? I guess that the city party wants to change under a new administration.
So I think it's building a consensus, working together, making sure that the process and the government process is being followed accurately. Working with the county executive, we have great leadership at the county level, and it seems like we're going opposite directions a lot of times with the current administration. But really working together and finding the people that are willing to do that to take these projects to the next level. The city of Utica on its own is not going to be able to really reach our full potential without working together with our surrounding areas. So it's a perfect example. Everything that's happening in downtown, great. But if we're going in friction with what the county is doing, then we're not doing the right thing.
Gotcha.
I don't believe there's certainly not a Republican challenging Tony Piceni right now. But is there anybody else even in that race?
No.
There are quite a few races out there that we really don't know if there's going to be a challenge at this point.
Yeah, and I think for the county executive, I think that's a reflection on his leadership.
Yeah.
He's been doing a great job. In some other races, you see kind of around the country, you're watching complete races and nobody's running for them. And it's scary. I think competition is good. It's important. It makes us all better as people. So it is concerning in those races that you don't have a strong incumbent coming back from.
Okay, so the big race though for the city of Utica obviously is the mayor's race. That's going to be an interesting battle. When you screen them, will you ask the question that if you lose the primary, will you get out of the race? Because that is a concern that if a Republican were to stay in and maybe run on the conservative line or another line, that it could split the vote.
Yeah, so winning a primary is nothing if you don't win in November.
Right.
So our goal is to give the Republican the best chance. And obviously, if we're splitting up a Republican-leaning ticket, then that certainly isn't good for any of us. We've seen it in the past. And, yes, that'll certainly be something that we're looking for and wanting to not only drop out of the race after the primary if it's split, but support the person who wins the primary. And that's a requirement of the committee person as well.
Speaking with the city chair, Mike Gentile, and I didn't get to I didn't even do our free money question, did I, Davey? I'll get to it coming up. I don't know what's saying. It's crazy. It's a day off. My head's somewhere else. Probably in an extended van in a garage in New York City. That was much earlier this morning.
Of course, it's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. It's a federal holiday, so there's no mail. No state office buildings.
No, like free money.
No free money question.
We will do that coming up in a second. But it is important to stand up for the party. You want to get somebody in. Here's another question for you. Is Bill Morehouse a card-carrying member of the Republican Party? Now, many say that he sounds like it, but he keeps saying he's a Democrat. I don't believe it. Secretly, is he really a Republican?
I will not believe it until we get a big donation.
Okay, all right. Like tchotchkes and fly swatters.
Yeah,
that would
absolutely.
be nice. Yeah.
Can I ask as well, and I forget how the overlap goes. Of course, the mayor's race is coming up. Are the city council seats up, or are some of them up, and are you screening for that as well?
It's all up. So all county ledge seats, all city council seats, comptroller, district attorney.
Yeah,
they're all up. They're all up. Those pretty much everything. We can see a big changeover. And obviously we have our incumbents doing a great job. We're going to keep them going and hopefully find some more people to fill in that ticket.
But because of sometimes people retire or maybe they lose interest or whatever, and then on the city council you got a lot of Democrats. I'm sure you're recruiting people. You want people to come forward even if they've never run.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? If now's not your time, we'll work together. We'll get you involved. We'll see where you can fit and move forward. I'm very grateful. Between past leadership, Chairman Obaika. I have a lot of resources. We have a lot of resources. We have a lot of knowledge there, and a lot of support and finding everybody's tools, what they can do to help us be successful. This time next year, we'll be sitting with the Republican majority in the council and a Republican mayor.
Okay.
That's
All
gonna
right.
Fingers crossed.
That's the
No,
word.
I'm not even going to cross the fingers. We're just going to make it happen.
All right.
Nice job, Mike.
Utica City Chair Mike Gentile, thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. And, one more. Jim Zecca, is he a card-carrying member of the Republican Party?
He is.
He is. Everybody
He
thought
can
was-
also make a donation, but
They
he
all
is.
thought he was a Democrat, but no longer, right?
Yes.
He is. And he'll be asking the question, do you unequivocally support Donald Trump? He'll ask that question.
I'm sure he might.
Okay, Mike, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Listen, let's take a shot at Hobica's free money question, right? Davey, make it caller number what?
5.
Caller 5, your chance to win from the Hobica Law Firm and WIBX. 5th caller through the phone lines here on a holiday. And let's see if we can give away $100 next on WIBX.
Are you retired or retiring soon? Do you know how much money you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. These may feel like scary times. Several economists are saying that a recession is imminent. So what do? Ancient wisdom says plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1. Find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2. Have an actionable plan to get there. Step 3. Make sure that plan is executed to take advantage of market gains, but protect you from market losses. We would like to give you a free, no-obligation consultation to help you do all 3. We will help you discover your magic number and give you the roadmap to get there. Call now to schedule your free consultation. 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108. 800-508-6108. Don't wait. Call 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
I never write reviews, but Navage is so amazing, I had to leave one. Nothing's ever cleared out my sinuses as well. I'm blown away by how Navage works. That's a review from Carrie, and it's one of over 100,000 online testimonials praising Navage. I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I've talked about flushing out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs. How Navage's powered suction can help you breathe better, and how your nose is the body's air filter, and Navage will clean it out. But don't take my word for it. What do people like Chad say, who wrote, Navage has helped clear out my nasal passages every single night. My wife says my snoring has gone way down. Snorefest be gone, unquote. Navage is the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million customers to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
Are you ready to make the most important decision for your child's future? Some are easy, some are not. Some make all the difference, like choosing Notre Dame schools. Offering grades pre-K through 12, your child will be ready to learn and thrive in a challenging atmosphere surrounded by great teachers and the most current technology. Notre Dame offers small class sizes, high academic standards, and spiritual fulfillment. At Notre Dame, we foster an environment of diversity and community. Students feel supported and more confident in achieving their goals. Our students learn from each other and are challenged to grow and develop their innate talents. Notre Dame is faith-based, but everyone is welcome. If you have higher expectations for your child, Notre Dame offers a higher level experience. If you're ready to launch your child's future into the most successful career path and build the next generation of leaders, call today for a tour or visit NotreDameUtica.org. Notre Dame schools ready to learn, destined to lead.
Well, Ricky Z at Steve Ponte Mazda would like to wish everybody the happiest of New Year's and 2023, and invite you to come on in and enjoy a different, unique car buying experience. One that is not high stress, and one that after you do purchase a vehicle, whether it's new or you leased, or if you purchased a pre-owned vehicle, you get taken care of with service. Thank you for supporting the dealership, and they truly value and respect and appreciate their customers. That's the Ricky Z way at Steve Ponte Mazda, family owned and operated, located on Commercial Drive in Yorkville. Steve Ponte Mazda.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, William Bill is ready to take a shot at our free money question here. Hi, Bill. Good morning. Good morning, Bill.
Hi. Good morning.
How you doing?
Pretty good.
Good. Well, you got to do better than pretty good. It's a day off.
Right.
It's a day off in the world, Bill. Today's a holiday.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, right. That's how I feel. We don't have a day off. Okay, let's do our question. You know the deal. You'll have 7 seconds to answer the question, and I believe you're going to pull this off. Are you ready, Bill?
Yes, I'm all set.
In 1952, Gibson started selling this model guitar. Ready, go.
Oh, I don't know. Johnny Cash guitar.
Is it the Johnny Cash? Anybody want to answer that one?
I don't know.
Davey, this is an easy one.
The Elvis one?
The Elvis one? Well, I don't know that Elvis ever played a Les Paul. 1952, electric guitar. Les Paul.
That is an
Gibson,
easy one.
well known for the Les Paul.
I remember that name.
Yeah.
Les Paul and Mary Ford.
Yes, named after Les Paul, the guitar endorsed by, made by Gibson. Okay, and that, by the way, guitar is still made today, and you can pick it up at Big Apple Music. Les Paul, the Les Paul.
Stop by.
Bill, I'm going to give you, because I know you love to laugh, I'm going to give you tickets to Fat Cats Comedy Club. You can pick any show this weekend and give it a try. Check out the club. You will love it. Do you have something to add here, Manasseh?
I was going to say we have some tickets as well that we're giving away this morning, and I wanted to ask Bill if he is a bluegrass or a jamgrass kind of fan.
We're going to get these guys on, and I think you'd love it, Bill. You would love it.
Where is that?
It's happening at Munson Williams, and it's called Chicken Wire Empire, and the group tours internationally: Germany, Austria, Switzerland,
when
United
is that
States.
now?
That is coming up on February 4th, Saturday, February 4th, a 7:30 show. Tickets for this, full price tickets, like $40. So
we'll also give you a pair of, actually up to a table for 6 if you'd like to bring everybody to Fat Cats Comedy Club this weekend. Phil Selman is the headlining comedian and shows on Friday and Saturday. And the Utica All-in-One, Bill. Food and fun card is a $25 gift card to Aquavino, Babes, 72 Tavern and Grill, Taylor and the Cook, and the Adirondack Bank Center. We're going to hook you up completely. Stand by. Davey's going to take care of you.
Okay.
All right, Bill. Thank you so much.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica Rome, W295DI Utica Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
House Republicans want to see visitor logs. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. To the Biden residence, after even more classified documents from the president's days as vice president were found over the weekend, GOP Congressman Chris Stewart tells CBS Face the Nation.
For those who think that, well, the president didn't realize that he had those in his possession, it just is nonsense. Of course he knew that he had them. They're so obvious.
Fox's Peter Ducey's at the White House.
Even the most reliable Biden allies, Democrats in Congress, are saying they want spy agencies to fill them in about how bad this might be.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams went to the Texas border over the weekend demanding federal assistance after months of buses full of migrants who came to the U.S. illegally were sent to his city and others.
El Paso does not deserve this. Chicago, Washington, Houston, Los Angeles, New York.
Republicans criticized President Biden's trip to El Paso a week ago as a photo op amid a record surge of illegal immigration. They've found the black boxes in Nepal, cockpit, voice, and data recorders. They hope it can explain why a plane crashed with 72 passengers on board and crew. 69 bodies found so far, no confirmed reports of survivors.
The disaster happened as a flight from the capital of Kathmandu approached the city of Pokhara. The twin-engine propeller plane crashed into a gorge at the end of this 30-minute flight.
Fox's Trey Yinks. The FAA is investigating a close call at New York's JFK Airport Friday.
Delta 1943, cancel takeoff clearance.
That command as the plane was speeding up.
Delta 1943, cancel takeoff clearance.
That air traffic controller may have averted a disaster. In that audio from live ATC, the Delta plane stopped, did not take off. Stopped about 1,000 feet from an American Airlines plane crossing paths from an adjacent runway on its takeoff. What caused the jets to be on a collision course unclear at this point. A legend of the big screen has died. Gina Lollobrigida, an Italian movie star who rose to international and Hollywood fame in the 1950s and 60s. She was 95. America's listening to Fox News.
My friend had his home stolen. The crime is home title theft. It's real. It's horrendous, but it's real, and it's everywhere. Now, luckily, this was just a demo, but I saw how criminals all around the world target American homeowners, and that's why I protect my home with Home Title Lock, and you need to as well. And a thief can simply forge your signature on a legal document claiming you sold your home to them. Homeowners insurance and common identity theft programs do not protect you, but Home Title Lock does. So protect yourself. Just go to their website. It's hometitlelock.com/Sean, S-E-A-N. Verify your home's title is still safely in your name. Then just register your address for a free, no-obligation home title report for your files. That is a $100 value, absolutely free. That's hometitlelock.com/Sean, hometitlelock.com/Sean, S-E-A-N.
Mostly cloudy skies, 16 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski. WIBX News Time is 8:03. This news update is brought to you by My Carl's Epic January clearance sale. Save up to 70% on furniture and mattresses, closeouts, one-of-a-kinds, and more. Shop My Carl's today in the New Hartford Shopping Center or at Destiny USA. A Utica man facing charges after an incident that left 2 employees at the Applebee's in New Hartford injured. Police say 28-year-old Esteban Padron entered the restaurant Saturday night and was told to leave because he had caused a previous disturbance there. He then allegedly grabbed a knife and slashed an employee in the face, and a second employee was also injured during the scuffle. A customer who is licensed to carry a gun pulled out his weapon and held Padron at gunpoint until police arrived. After being taken into custody, he was sent to a nearby hospital for a mental health evaluation. Utica police say a man is believed to have broken into 2 homes and sexually assaulted 2 women, one a teen and one a senior. It happened on Saturday night. Police were called to South Street, where a 15-year-old victim said she returned home to find a man inside of a bedroom there. The man placed his hand over her mouth and threatened to kill her if she moved, and then attempted to sexually assault her. The teen was able to get away. When officers arrived, they were alerted to a nearby residence where a similar situation happened. A 67-year-old woman said she was sleeping on her living room couch. She noticed a man walking up her stairs. She yelled at him. Then he came toward her, approached her, and sexually assaulted her in the living room. Eventually, she was able to get away, and she also called police. Police have released ring camera photos of the suspect. You can find those on the UPD Facebook page. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer pledging to make a push to get Phil Washington confirmed as the new FAA administrator. He says in the aftermath of recent airline troubles and tech issues that have caused major headaches for travelers, it's clear the FAA is in need of leadership. Schumer's planning to call for a hearing where members of Congress will have a chance to ask questions of their new potential FAA chief. A Capital Region lawmaker calling for CPR training to become mandatory for all youth sports coaches. Under the current state education law, high school coaches must know CPR, but the bill proposed by Assemblyman Angelo Santa Barbara would require everyone who coaches children to know the life-saving technique. Recently, DeMar Hamlin of the Buffalo Bills collapsed during a game and needed to be resuscitated by CPR on the field. He was released from the hospital last week and is still recovering, but got to watch the Bills-Dolphins game from the comfort of his own home on Sunday. And Bill, a check on local gas prices here in the Utica-Rome area. According to AAA, the average price for a gallon of regular unleaded fuel in the Utica-Rome area is $3.55 this morning. That's unchanged from yesterday. It's down about 4 cents from last week and up 3 cents from a month ago. But our neighbors in Syracuse paying less. They're averaging $3.40 a gallon. That's a difference of about 15 cents. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast calling for cloudy skies to clear up as we approach the afternoon. It will be mostly sunny today and a high reaching 35 degrees. Overnight tonight, expecting clear skies, temps falling back to about 20 degrees. Could have a messy commute tomorrow morning. Tuesday, a slight chance of snow, freezing rain and sleet before noon. Then rain and freezing rain after that. Tomorrow's high 35 degrees. Wednesday, a chance of rain showers. Otherwise cloudy and a high of 39. Right now, mostly cloudy, 16 degrees. WIBX News Time is 8:07.
All right, from the IBEW Local 43 Sports Desk, here we go. The Bills edging the Dolphins in a game that was way too close. But a win is a win is a win is a win.
Yes, it is.
Beating the Dolphins 34-31 at Orchard Park. Josh Allen threw for 352 yards, 3 touchdowns. Did have 2 interceptions, but I think in both cases were not his fault, while adding 20 rush yards and a fumble lost, which was returned for a touchdown. Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis combined for 227 receiving yards in the victory. Dolphins backup quarterback Skylar Thompson completed 18 of 45 passes. That was not his fault. These guys were dropping passes that were right to them. It was really, I mean, had Miami played better, they very well probably would have won that game.
And, it was interesting, too. There was the sun was beating down over one edge of the stadium in the first half.
The thought was that might have been playing a role.
But I wondered because it looked to me like the quarterback was facing the sun and the receivers had their back to the sun. So I'm like, what? There were a couple plays in the first quarter where the sun may have interfered, but some of those drops, I mean, hitting guys right in the hands.
Unbelievable. Giants are moving on to the divisional round of the NFC playoffs after earning a 31-24 victory over the Vikings at U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. Wow. I thought you were going to see Minnesota come down, tie this thing up, go to overtime, and win the game. I mean, in front of their home crowd, I just thought it was going to happen, and it didn't. The Giants really dominated that game from the start.
Yeah, it looked good. The offense has looked as good as it's looked all year. Over 300 yards passing for Daniel Jones. And I'll tell you, at the end of the game, I was thinking the same thing. It can't be this. It can't be this. It was 4th and 8. They went for it. They dropped the pass, and I was like, that's it? We're moving on. Love it.
Saturday night, the 49ers took down the division rival Seattle Seahawks 41-23. The Jaguars made history later in the night following their 31-30 win over the Chargers in L.A. Jacksonville was down 27-0 and came back to win the game 31-30.
Trevor Lawrence, 4 interceptions. Were they all in the first half? Did he have 4 picks? No, they started the second half with a pick, I think.
Who did?
Jacksonville.
Yes.
Yeah, so it wasn't all in the first half, but 4 interceptions, and then he comes away with the victory. How about that?
The nightcap featured the Bengals beating the Ravens 24-17 in Cincinnati. That means that it'll be the Bills and the Bengals will finally get to play, and it'll happen in Buffalo this weekend. Davey, let me just say, the Bills will not be able to play the way they played this past Sunday.
Nope. If they do that, Cincinnati will end up winning.
Yeah.
You know, I thought it was interesting. They interviewed Joe Burrow at the end of the game last night, and I forget the reporter who was on the field, but she asked Joe Burrow, you know, everything that happened and the emotion.
Starks.
Yeah, I think it was Melissa Stark. So the emotion and everything that happened, when you two teams, the Bengals and Bills, were out on the field last, what are you expecting this time around? Or what's the emotion going to be like? And Joe Burrow started to say, and then stopped himself. He goes, well, we're hoping for more of the high-flying offenses that we've all come to expect. He didn't want to say more of the same because obviously a guy almost died. So, but
well, I got to say that obviously the Bengals were ahead in that game. The Bills scored a field goal. The Bengals scored a touchdown. But I kind of had a feel that was going to be very much like the Kansas City Bills game from last year, where it was just all offense.
Bing, 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 touchdown, score, touchdown. Yeah, it was.
And this is one of those deals where the Bills, Bills fans have felt like we're all destined to the Super Bowl. This is not going to be an easy game to get past.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. The Bengals are a very good team. Burrow, a very capable quarterback, and for a young guy similar to Josh Allen, he's very mature.
Yeah.
He's the leader of that team on the field. And then if you get by the Bengals, and you got to face Kansas City again. I mean, it's like an annual occurrence. It's a yearly ritual. The Bills and the Chiefs to figure out who's going to go to the Super Bowl.
To get to the Super Bowl,
we'll see.
It is just because I hate to say, I almost, Nagel would disagree, but I almost feel like this weekend is like a Super Bowl. next weekend is going to be like a Super Bowl if whichever team wins, Bills or Bengals. And that's providing that Kansas City wins. A lot of good competition here. And some local stuff. Providence beat the Comets 3-1 on Friday night. The Comets came back into winning ways on Saturday, defeating Bridgeport 5-1. They'll be back home this week. Today, the Comets play at Syracuse. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. It's a matinee 1 p.m. game at the War Memorial in Syracuse. And Pioneers played Newman over the weekend. 2 games at home. Friday night, 5-0. Utica beat Newman. And Saturday, they beat Newman 6-2.
Before I get an email criticizing, I just want to clarify. I said they play every year to go to the Super Bowl. But in reality, they face off in the postseason. But obviously, Burrow and the Bengals went to the Super Bowl last year. So I just wanted to note that. I'm not a complete idiot. And the second thing is, on that Pioneers game, Friday night, first of all, my son had plenty of screen time. Him and his friends go to the Pioneers game. They have a blast at these games. So he's always up on the big screen. But we were talking after the game about the stats. Now, obviously, Utica, great victory, 5-0. They get the win. But they outshot the opponent, I think, 50-12 on the game.
Wow.
Something like that. And I just thought to myself, boy, the Newman goalie, despite the defeat, it's got to be praised. Stopped 45 shots.
Yeah, man.
I mean, but the Pioneers rolling, man. They overpower some of their rivals. They have been known to just crush them in 5-0 and 6-2.
I don't know where they are right now, but I believe the Utica ranked nationally is in. They're either number 1 or number 2.
I think they're 2
right now nationally. Pretty cool. They'll play at Lebanon Valley this Friday and Saturday, and that is sports. Oh, Syracuse tonight after a huge win on Saturday night over Notre Dame. Syracuse is on the road, Davey, at Miami, playing a 7 p.m. game tonight, which will be on the ACC network.
Correct.
What do you think of this? These young players on the Syracuse team coming to the rescue on Saturday night.
He actually got some good freshmen. Jimmy does.
Yeah, and that press played a big role in that win.
So what's the prediction tonight? What are the opponent is number 16 in the country?
Well, Miami got beat by NC State on Saturday, so they were ranked 16th. So they'll fall probably 2 positions down, but. Miami always plays Syracuse well, so hopefully the momentum will continue.
8:14, stand by. We're coming right back. It's Monday morning, Martin Luther King Day. No mail, no banks today, no school, all of that. 8:14 at WIBX.
Hi, I'm Ray Durso of the Genesis Group. It's time to raise the bar for the Mohawk Valley region, and with your support of the Genesis Group annual appeal, we can help make that happen. The Genesis Group is the Mohawk Valley source for news and information, views and opinions, community projects, and regional events. Genesis believes that our community is ready for new levels of success. We are welcoming new companies and seeing local businesses expanding. Our region is on the rise. During this season of giving, I invite you to support our annual fund appeal. Your financial assistance will help fund programs and events in education, healthcare, community and economic development, and so much more. Our Board of Trustees have all made a contribution. They join me in asking you to do the same. For more information about the Genesis Group and to make your pledge, please visit our website, thegenesisgroup.org. Thank you.
Are you ready to make the most important decision for your child's future? Some are easy, some are not. Some make all the difference, like choosing Notre Dame schools. Offering grades pre-K through 12, your child will be ready to learn and thrive in a challenging atmosphere surrounded by great teachers and the most current technology. Notre Dame offers small class sizes, high academic standards, and spiritual fulfillment. At Notre Dame, we foster an environment of diversity and community. Students feel supported and more confident in achieving their goals. Our students learn from each other and are challenged to grow and develop their innate talents. Notre Dame is faith-based, but everyone is welcome. If you have higher expectations for your child, Notre Dame offers a higher level experience. If you're ready to launch your child's future into the most successful career path and build the next generation of leaders, call today for a tour or visit NotreDameUtica.org. Notre Dame schools ready to learn, destined to lead.
Explore Banana Republic Factory now and enjoy 50% off everything, from heritage classics to new arrivals for the season. Discover essential styles from $24.99. Find your nearest store or shop online. Only at Banana Republic Factory.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Okay, it's 8:17, and we're on Monday morning. Looks like tomorrow we could be dealing with some sloppy conditions on your way in tomorrow morning with sleet and freezing rain and all of that, right?
Yes, and then by afternoon, it looks like it's going to warm up to the mid-30s and change over to all rain.
Before we get to Celeste Friend, who has a lot to get to here this morning, and during this period, as we lead up to the primaries, we'll be talking to all of the candidates, including not just from Utica, but Rome and throughout the region. So yesterday on my travels on the thruway last night, I have to say there has been some complaints about some of the rest areas being really small. But they're mixing them up now on the thruway as they're being rebuilt. So you have smaller ones, and then they'll go to another one, which is huge. And the big ones are now being built and are pretty close to being open. In fact, one of the big ones will be in Little Falls. That is pretty close to being open. It looks like you can even see the logos inside of the restaurants that are going to be opening up there. So I thought that was because. Oh, by the way, if there are any of the older ones, they've stopped taking care of them completely. Like they don't even clean. They don't even clean the bathrooms anymore.
Oh.
It's awful. I mean, tear those places down.
Maybe they're trying to save a buck.
Well, I think they are. Yeah.
So let me ask you this:
why clean it? We're going to tear it down anyway.
All the new travel stations, they all have solar panels on the roof and the walls, right? And then wind turbines on top.
I don't believe they do.
Well, I just don't understand, and I'm pro green, and I'm pro not hurting the environment with energy we're using or anything really. But if New York State is making this push that you can't have natural gas and you can't have a certain type of oven in your home and everything's got to be green and renewable, why don't they lead by example and put that on top of the plazas, the travel stations?
They may exist, but they have to exist, right? But I don't know where they are if they do. Where are the charging stations at the thruway rest areas? I don't know. I don't even know where they are. I mean, think about it right now.
Right?
Unless you have an electric car, I would think they would have to be there. You've got to have them on the thruway. But if they're there, which I assume they are, I just don't know where they are.
You know, you had made the point, and I kind of complained when you started talking about this, the smaller travel stations. I keep calling them travel stations. Travel Plaza, is that what they are? The plaza?
Yeah.
Travel Plaza.
Rest areas, Travel Plaza, whatever.
That, you know, they had these large ones with the glass roof and, you know, and I thought they looked really nice. But then you think about it, and it's not energy efficient at all. And it would make sense to have a smaller, lower ceiling.
But they have the large. It doesn't make sense to have these huge, large rest areas every 30 miles.
Right.
So you'll have a really large one, then you'll have a smaller one, which still has everything in there. It's just not as large. Then you'll maybe go with another smaller one, and then there'll be a really big one. The really big ones seem larger than the older large ones, if you're following me.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
And
man, they are not cleaning the old ones. They are not cleaning them. They are disgusting. They're not fixing them if something breaks.
Well,
they're disgusting.
And McDonald's seems to have left, right? So
McDonald's, I think, is gone for the most part.
On the thruway, and the McDonald's was gone, and so there was nothing there. A tiny little store that had some coffee and candy bars.
Well, that's only because they're tearing it down. Yeah.
I think Jeff has a really good point, though. These should be sort of, what do you call it? Flagships of green energy. Right? I mean, they're not just because New Yorkers see them, but because everybody sees them.
The name of the stores that are going in that are going to be the grab and go stores. So they'll have chains in there. They'll have other things, the Starbucks. But they also have these grab and go stores where you can go in and get a banana or an apple, a sandwich, warm something up in a microwave, whatever. They're called Apple Green, I think, is the name. And I think they're giving this, it says a green leaf is the logo. And I think they're trying to come up with this very healthy green movement forward.
But the energy
yeah.
that they use ought to be geothermal. They're building from scratch. Why not geothermal, wind, solar, all of it?
I can't tell you it's not, but there's no evidence that it is.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Well,
and by the way, let's not forget they sell gasoline, made from oil.
Yeah.
That's what we sell, and they usually make a pretty good profit on it.
They certainly do.
So there you have that.
So if elected mayor,
good morning.
Good morning, Celeste Friend, Utica councilwoman and candidate for mayor of Utica. Will you be putting solar panels on the roof at City Hall?
You know, I actually asked recently with all the ARPA money that that the city had. I asked the engineer, "Can we please put solar on the roof?" And he says the roof is not sort of structured in such a way that it is good for that. All the mechanicals are up on the roof, so it's not a nice flat surface. But I certainly would be open to it. The other place where I think we could put solar is on the top of the Washington Place garage. And what you do is you put the solar up there that is on tall pylons so that you can park under it. Now your car is parked in the shade, right, and out of the rain and out of the snow, but you're also doing solar on the top.
Right.
And that's a real prime spot. Nice flat, no tall building right next to it.
One of the problems, though, is we don't get any sun.
At this time of year, it is difficult.
Brutal. Like, we're going to go. It was so cloudy all week long last week. I think we finally saw the sun a little bit this weekend.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
and
true.
then today, supposedly this afternoon, mostly sunny.
Although even on a cloudy day, solar panels do generate some not as much as on a nice sunny day. But you're right.
Okay, there are now there's now a primary in the Republican side.
Yes.
On the Republican side.
Yes.
And I think what Bob Cardillo had said, and as well on the Democratic side, but I think what Bob Cardillo had said is that you shouldn't be worried about him right now. You should be worrying about your own primary. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, no, that's right. I'm worried about, and I'm not even, I'm worried about my own primary. I'm worried about putting out my positive program for Utica. I want people to know what I stand for, the kinds of things that I would want to bring to the city, the sort of initiatives that I would bring, the kind of, how I intend to govern, etc.
Yeah.
That's what I'm mostly
To be
concerned
fair,
about. Sure.
I believe we may have asked you a question
think you did,
about
Bill.
Bob Cardillo, to be fair.
did.
And I don't think it was me. I think it was Jeff, but I'm just saying.
It was somebody. Was it? Yeah.
Since we last spoke, two more candidates have jumped into the race. One being a Democratic primary opponent, I guess, Frank DeBrango, a fellow council member, and then also current council president Michael Galimi jumping in as well. So we've got four so far. Do you expect more to jump in, and do you welcome that?
I do welcome that. I actually think primaries are really good for democracies. I think they're good for their own parties. I think primaries is where a party sort of figures out who they are. So I do welcome that. I haven't, there has been so much loose gossip over the last 6 months or a year. I don't really expect anybody else to jump in, but
you mean loose gossip as in other people possibly jumping in?
Yes,
yeah.
And I'm not going to name names, but there's all sorts of, we've all heard it. It's possible that somebody out there is running a real stealth campaign and going to jump in at, right before petitioning season begins. It wouldn't, but it's not something I really expect at this point. I think the four known candidates now are probably who it is.
We were talking about divided government versus what we have in New York, which basically is Democrats have complete control. And you'll hear a lot of talk. Your comment about primaries just kind of gave me this reminder of this conversation over the weekend, which I think is kind of funny. That the reality is this is what happens when you don't have divided government. This is what happens. Stuff gets done. And that's the problem. I think that's right.
For some people.
Because if you look at Congress, it's divided. Nothing gets done. So which is better? Are we better off being in a divided government where nothing gets done, or a government that is one party control and they get to do stuff?
Yeah.
I don't know which is better.
I think it depends upon who's in control and how you feel about those people at any given time.
Yeah.
Can I ask?
By the way, on the grab and goes on the New York State Thruway, Mike said there's been a great deal of grab and go taking place in stores in Utica.
That's true.
And with bail reform, they just they continue to grab and go.
Yes, that's
Sorry.
what brick and mortar's for nowadays.
I
Don't
believe,
you know you're
yes,
supposed to
yes.
shop online?
That's right.
I'm only teasing. So let me ask you, the current administration, what do you think of the job that they've done? Rob Palmieri, are there things that you would change that you see for voters who may be not on the Rob Palmieri bandwagon? Are there things that you feel that you would do differently than how he handles them?
Yes, I think it would be really odd to run for mayor and say I'm not going to do anything different. So, of course, anybody who really is deeply motivated to run for mayor has ideas about how they would do things differently. What Rob has done, what the mayor has done over the last 10 years is actually really remarkable in terms of the recovery of the city's finances, and it's not to be underplayed. So when Mayor Palmieri took over 11 years ago, we had a negative fund balance, general fund balance of $15,000. We were in the red. We were borrowing junk bonds, which just basically means very high interest bonds, short-term high interest bonds, just in order to make payroll. That makes my skin crawl. And here we are 11 years later. Our fund balance is somewhere around $12 million, which is what the state wants it to be. The state controller recommends that you have 1/6 of your annual operating budget in reserve, basically, in a general fund balance. We get extremely competitive bond rates. Now, bond rates are climbing up because the Fed is increasing, the federal interest rates. And so we don't have access to the same really cheap bond rates that we did. But nonetheless, we are in an extremely competitive position. And that is due to the good work that Mayor Palmieri and Bill Morehouse have done. That's really important not to be downplayed. Now we're in a position, we've rebuilt the city's finances over the last decade. Now we're in a position to start using that money that we have in order to rebuild the city. So we've had surplus after surplus after surplus. I don't want surpluses. I want to use that money. City government is extremely understaffed right now. We have shortages at the DPW. We have shortages in almost every department in City Hall except for codes. But even codes, we need to make more positions, hire more people. Codes really are the front line of a lot of public safety work, and I think it's important that we give them resources. So one of my main initiatives will be to fill the rosters of employees who work for City Hall. I think that that's really important, and that's part of how we go about rebuilding the city. We also need to start making more investments in infrastructure. Some of that is city budget. Some of that is making sure that we capture our fair share of federal funds and state funds. So that means that, we need a mayor who's going to be really good at building those kinds of relationships with state reps, et cetera.
Are we talking to Celeste Friend? Yes, we are. Yeah, it just dawned on me. We are. We're talking with Celeste Friend, who is running for mayor in Utica, currently a council person on the Common Council. I'm going to throw something at you, and I don't want you to be offended.
Okay.
But I'd be offended if I were you. So, or maybe this is a compliment.
Okay.
So when other candidates and other people have talked about you running for mayor, they say, "Oh, Celeste, that would be a disaster." How do you respond to that?
Well, I guess I'd want to know something that's too broad. So obviously,
I don't think it's intended to be any less broad or more.
Well, but
broad
why
than
do
that.
they think? I'd like to know why they think it would be a disaster.
I just I kind of wonder, is that, do you feel that that's being, and they don't get into particulars, but this is what people say.
Right.
It would be a disaster. Maybe that you're too liberal. Maybe that you're just crazier than a hoot owl, which I have not witnessed you in studio that way. But that's what's said. And I've heard it from multiple people. And I'm wondering, is it accurate? Or is it a way to, are they worried about you? And this is how they're combating. Instead of getting into specifics, they're just saying, "Ooh, you don't want to know what I know about her."
Well,
and then they never, they never say
right.
what it is. It makes the person's mind begin to churn and
Fill in the blanks.
Fill in the blanks, right? So
right.
Are they afraid of you?
I don't know who's afraid of me. I don't know why. I really, that sort of not having specific things, I think, is really the heart of the matter. I think if you really look at my record of public service here in Utica, what you see is somebody who's fought for transparency and engagement, somebody who has connected with people across the political spectrum, served her constituents, I believe, fairly, served all of her constituents, whether, Republican, Democrat, unaffiliated, et cetera. Someone who has dived into policy, positions in order to that serve our neighborhoods. So I passed legislation. I amended the sanitation part of our codes in order to prevent people from hoarding metal and wood in their backyards. That's about protecting neighborhoods, protecting property owners. So if you actually look at who I am, if you meet me and talk to me, you see I'm not crazy. I have lots of very specific recommendations for neighborhoods, for city, for policies that serve everyone in the city.
All right.
Yeah.
Question 2. This is I've also heard.
Okay.
It's nice that I can hear things. These are only rumors and people talking, but you're hearing people in the political world. I'm not saying your opponents have said this,
Sure.
but people in the political world, the local political world. The other thing that they've said is, are you ready? You are not from here.
It's true.
You're a carpetbagger.
I am actually, I'm not a carpetbagger because although I didn't grow up in Utica, I've been here for 20 years. I'm deeply committed to the city. This is my home. I know the city really well. I have deep connections with the people of the city of Utica. It's, I planted my flag here 20 years ago. It's it's the place I want to live for the rest of my life. So, carpetbaggers were people who came in from outside, not because they were committed to those communities, right? Carpetbaggers is a term from post-Civil War, I think, right? People who just moved into cities, into places in order to kind of take over with their own
What is
point of view. I'm not a carpetbagger.
The carpet bag reference? Is that the bag made of carpet?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
You would take old remnants of carpets, I think, and they made bags
make a bag
out of them.
and
Sort of a cheap
you
suitcase.
Just
right.
keep making your way
so
through.
I think I'm simply not a carpetbagger. I'm deeply committed to this place. This is
I would
home.
see a carpetbagger as someone who decided to run and moved there, Hillary Clinton, in order to run, right?
Right.
That would be a carpetbagger.
Yes, and that is something that Secretary Clinton was accused of.
No doubt about it.
Right, she
Yeah.
moved to Chautauqua.
Yours is a different situation, though.
Right.
You moved here and decided you wanted to be a part of it.
Right. I arrived in Utica 20 and a half years ago, and just fell in love with the
All right.
city, with
Okay.
with the people, with the place, with the quality of life that was possible here. And 3 years later, bought a home on Emerson Ave, which is still home to me.
Here is one of your constituents, Stefan Rabitsky, with a
possible candidate, a possible opponent.
Stefan, let's get it out.
No.
Let's get it out there right now. If you were to run, would you run as a Democrat or a Republican?
Well, I would run as a Democrat.
Okay. Are you running?
Well, hello, Bill.
Well, hello, Stefan.
Hi, Stefan.
Are you running for mayor?
Well, I'm thinking maybe running for common council, maybe.
Okay, that would be interesting, right? Okay, what do you have, Stefan?
Well, I'm wondering for Celeste's friend, what is going on with the possible South Utica stewards?
Good question.
So, hi, Stefan. So there is a planning board meeting this Thursday at 4:30 in Common Council chambers, and I do encourage everybody who is interested in this and feels like a stakeholder in that quarter of South Genesee Street to come to that meeting. 4:30 Thursday, January 19th. It will be a public hearing as required by law, and that means that the public will be allowed to speak. I, of course, will also be allowed to speak because I passed a law that gave members of the Common Council the right to speak on projects in their own districts.
Are you going to speak against it?
I am.
You are. You're against it going there.
I am.
I'm so in disagreement with you on this topic.
Okay. Here's my view. First of all, Stewart's is a great company. Glad to have them in the city. Their store on Court Street is a terrific asset to downtown. Their store, although it's not technically in Utica, but on Whitesboro Street out at the corner of Campion, great addition to that area. They're a good store. They're a good company. This is the wrong spot for that store, and it has to do with the character of that neighborhood. Because they want to take down a large house and large trees and a hedge, they're going to really alter the character of that neighborhood and make it much more commercial in the way in which slightly north on Genesee Street, the part of Genesee Street where I live, is a much more commercial area with a Fast Track and a Walgreens and a grocery store and an Arby's. This is the slippery slope to turning that section of Genesee south of Hampton Place into that.
But it used to be a gas station. There's a gas station across the street. It then was a Friendly's for years, and then was a restaurant for years.
Raspberries.
Yeah.
Right. It has to do with wanting the corner. I think if they had instead proposed to buy the smoke shop just south of Raspberries and build their store on a lot that was not on a corner, I think I would have a really different position.
But back to the part about it was a gas station years ago.
But never
There's
on
a
a
gas
corner.
station across the street. There was a Friendly's there, and then a Raspberries there. It's always been business oriented.
But it's also always been the scenic and historic district. So, or not always, as long as that has been established, which I believe was in the 70s. It is a scenic and historic district.
I've always felt the Jim Dandy is scenic and historic. That's one hell of an ice cream sundae, but it's still retail.
Yeah, it's again, all of those things are true. That it used to be a gas station, used to be a Friendly's, used to be a Raspberries. It's that they want to build their store on a corner. You will see that Stewart's from several blocks to the north.
If they decide to build a smaller, using a smaller thumbprint, and utilize the property that's right there, should they be able to move forward?
I think
on that?
I'd want to see the plans, but I think that would be a very different scenario. I am responding to the very specific proposal that they have made, not to the general idea of a store in that spot.
And Stefan, how do you handle that?
Well, if I were Stewart's, I would build a smaller store and not take down any houses.
Okay, all right. Okay, Stefan, thanks. Good luck. Let us know what you're going to do.
And go Buffalo.
Go Bills. Go Bills. I do have Wayne saying 3 of the 5 trees you're talking about on that corner are infected and are going to end up coming down anyway.
That's the first I've heard of that.
Okay.
There are 4 trees there. Maybe I miscounted. I might go back and look again.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 belong to the city, 2 belong to the private property.
I know you've got some dreams laid out by some of Utica's younger residents, what their vision of the future is. Is that what that is right there?
So not necessarily younger residents. So at our launch and then at our fundraiser, we put up something called the Vision Board. It's a very large, beautifully decorated bulletin board. We give people these cards, just sort of basically like an index card, and we ask them to, in 8 words or less, to describe one thing that they want in the city. Children, adults, anybody is welcome to get in on that. So we call it our Vision Board, and we're collecting people's ideas for the city of Utica.
Can I go back, though? I have
Sure.
people are on fire on.
Yeah, our messages are blowing up here. You get the call. You get the phones ringing here.
Yeah, this Stewart's thing is gaining some traction. Are people in the house, the people who are living in that home, where Stewart's is going to be built and going to be taken down, the house taken down, are they owners of the house or are they squatters?
Oh, they're tenants. They're
I've
not
heard
squatters.
that they are not tenants.
They've been tenants for over 10 years. They've lived in that house for 10 years.
Okay, but they don't own the home.
No, they're tenants.
Okay.
Like
and
many people in Utica, they rent their home.
If the property owner wants to sell it, shouldn't he or she be able to just sell it? Or the answer to that is no.
Well, the question isn't should they be able to sell it. The question is should they be able to tear it down. So those are different questions. Of course they can sell
should they be able to tear it down? You're saying no because it's historic.
It's a scenic and historic district.
I haven't seen the house, but it's got to be something. It must be a beauty.
No, it's you know what? It's a typical Utica-style tall two-family house. The point of the district is not to, and the point of the Scenic and Historic Preservation District is not simply to think about the buildings that have special historic value. It's the district as a whole. What's the value of the district as a whole, and how do its buildings contribute to that value?
I have Tim saying, will you end up like others who are opposed to Stewart's in East Utica and end up after it's finally built, having coffee there every morning? Because that's kind of what's happened at Stewart's and over there in East Utica.
I'll tell you, I'm a pretty big fan of Cafe Domenico. Cafe Domenico was my entry point into the city of Utica.
Okay.
So when I get a coffee to go, I get it at Cafe Domenico.
Oh, okay.
You mentioned your fundraiser. Was it refreshments provided by Stewart's? Just kidding. That was a joke on the app.
Malted milkshakes all around. Yeah.
And you said you don't have an objection to Stewart's. You actually
Stewart's
think they have
is a great
business?
company. Yeah. I'm glad they're here. I'm glad they're here. I do really honestly like their malted chocolate milkshakes. They're not just like a good company for the city. They are a good company in general. They treat their employees well. They pay well. Employees are in a 401k. So for that kind of a job,
even in some cases they have ownership possibilities.
Right.
And
so for that kind of a job, I have a lot of respect and admiration for them as a business. and I want them in the city. I don't, this particular spot, this particular project, the proposal is very specific. It includes a site plan. I have objections to that. If they had said, and they know this from the beginning, I said, what about the empty lot that is at the corner of Sunset and Shepherd, right across from Firehouse number 7? Big, beautiful empty lot, already on a corner, nothing to tear down. And they had, for whatever reasons of their own, they said, no, we don't want that. We want this. I would love to see them there.
By the way, the guy who owns the people who own the Friendlies, the Raspberries,
Yes.
the property, want to sell it.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right.
John in New Hartford said, this is responding to something earlier. It wasn't Palmieri's financial leadership. It was all the COVID money from the federal government. I think I can even say, I mean, the years upon years upon years of surpluses predated COVID.
Absolutely.
And
the general fund balance was building up well before
that is
2020.
true. And
Absolutely.
Bill Morehouse will say, I know who took care of the finances in the city. Trust me.
Right.
You can fill in your own blanks there.
Also, Christine in Whitesboro says people that make broad statements like the one about Celeste, that she's dangerous or something like that, it's just typical Utica dirty politics. So it's Christine's
Well, and that's
comment.
why. But I wanted to ask. I don't think it's wrong to ask the question.
Absolutely not. I welcome the question.
Because it is one of those things that's being said, and I find it interesting that it does not include specifics. And it's kind of like, you know what, so-and-so did? It's so bad I can't tell you. I'm not even going to say it.
No,
it makes people fill in the blank and create their own devious
I'm really
action.
glad that you brought it up, Bill. I mean, you were worried that you might offend me. It doesn't offend me at all.
I really wasn't, but I wanted to I wanted to at least preface it with that. So
I wanted to pretend that I was worried.
I'm
well,
sorry.
A, for honesty, even if it's late
But
in the game.
I know why I say that is because I know you can handle it.
Right. Well,
All right.
and here's, if anybody in your listening audience really wants to meet me, get to know me in person, hear about specific ideas I have, the things I've already done, the things that I want to do, I will sit down with anybody anytime.
Can I bring up the cards that you have in front of you? You have a whole, if you're watching on our streaming live via YouTube, you'd be able to see that she has all of these note cards. It looks like maybe comment cards or question cards.
Right. So
What
these are
they?
from our vision board, and we ask people to, in 8 words or less, give us an idea that you want for the city. And what's really interesting about, first of all, you get great ideas, but one of the things that I think is really interesting is to see the themes, to see the trends that come out. So some things that multiple people want. So lots of people want better public transportation, right? That comes up over and over again. Our buses don't run on Sundays. Now, our public buses are not a city service. It's Centro. It's regional.
Yeah.
But certainly a mayor could collaborate with and work with the county and Centro to add more bus routes. So people want better public transportation. People also want cleaner streets. That comes up over and over again. People are really bothered by the litter. And just to give a very brief shout out, the Keep Mohawk Valley Beautiful, which is part of Keep America Beautiful.
Yep.
Late April every year, they do a big drive to go out into all across the city and pick up litter. We've done it every year. We'll do it again this year. Anybody who wants to join me and my team, you're welcome to do so. It's actually a lot of fun. So, but people really want the litter tackled. Now, tackling the litter once a year through like a big volunteer event like that is good, but it's not enough. We need to do more as a city to get the litter off the street. So that's one of the themes that came up.
Or we can do less littering, the other 12
Less
months.
littering
a year.
would be
right.
nice,
So
yeah.
part of what we have to do, I think, is we have to figure out how to adjust the culture.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, there were these ads on TV of people throwing litter out their car windows and then somebody crying at the sight of it. When I would be ashamed if I threw something out my window. It would make me cringe in shame. We have to adjust the culture again so that people are ashamed of throwing things away. But, back to Centro, there are Centro bus stops that don't have trash cans. So people get to their bus stop with a cup of coffee. They finish their coffee. The bus comes along. They have nowhere to put it except to drop it on the ground.
My favorite card that you have in 8 words or less is, I want to know if you're going to... And then that would be 9 words.
Did you run out of 8 words?
They ran out of 8 words.
You're very good at following instructions. That's
well,
really,
you have to follow the instructions.
Well, you should see the people who didn't.
I can only imagine, yes. Paragraphs and paragraphs.
But people want cleaner streets. They want better public transportation. Sidewalks came up over and over again. More people want sidewalks, which are not just maintained as an infrastructure, but then kept clear in the winter.
Sidewalks can be horrible if they're not, if they're all broken up People want to take a walk with a stroller.
right.
You're walking with your kids.
And one of the great,
elderly people walking, it's very dangerous.
One of the great virtues of Utica as a city is that we are 65,000 people in 17.2 square miles. That means we should be able to walk everywhere. But we can't walk everywhere if we don't make the investment in good, safe, smooth, well-maintained sidewalks.
Anything else?
Can we have you back next week?
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll keep talking.
We'll talk with, I believe, her potential primary opponent, Frank DeBrango, coming up tomorrow, I believe, but possibly Wednesday. So,
and on the other side, you have two Republicans. But right now, the focus must be on the upcoming primaries.
The Republicans' job is to sort out amongst themselves who they're going to be nominating for the general election, and the Democrats' job is to do the same.
The official thank you, Celeste Friend. We appreciate it.
You're
Good
welcome.
luck.
Always happy to come on. This is great.
The official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning radio program is just down the street from that potential location we were just talking about in New Hartford. It's Daylight Donuts. Pumpkin lattes still exist, believe it or not, at Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. That pumpkin flavor is all season long. And the lattes, almost 14 different flavors of lattes. You should check them out. And, of course, coffee, espresso, iced coffee. And then there's the breakfast sandwiches, fresh bagels every day, and fresh donuts every single day. A box of coffee to take to work. It's all there from Daylight Donuts. The drive-thru, lightning fast. You're in, you're out, and you're on your way. Daylight Donuts in New Hartford.
Hi, this is Shalene with Northland Trailers located on River Road in Marcy. At Northland, we offer a full line of utility, snowmobile, enclosed, dump, and equipment trailers. We can also custom design a trailer to meet your specific needs. In addition to trailers, we have a full parts showroom, and we service what we sell. Our family business is proud to have been serving our community for over 4 decades. Northland Trailers is located right outside the city of Utica. So swing on down and let's talk towing.
How do you sum up 70 years in 30 seconds? The Community Foundation of Herkimer and Oneida counties has helped nonprofit groups put more than $110 million donor dollars to work over the last 7 decades. Programs, services, people, places, progress. Our 30 seconds are about up, but we're just getting started. Learn more at foundationhoc.org and help us work toward a vibrant region with opportunity for all.
As a Walgreens pharmacist, I talk with people all the time about little tips and tricks for filling their Medicare prescriptions, like taking advantage of Walgreens 90-day refills to save them a trip, or using Refill by Scan, which is super easy and right on your phone. And for anybody worried about prescription costs, I say, hey, we got you, with low-cost copays on many medications.
Let's talk about making things easier. Walgreens is here. Fill your way and save at walgreens.com/Medicare. See pharmacists for restrictions and exclusions.
If you are considering apartment living, you should explore Pounder Hall in Oriskany. Enjoy affordable apartment living in an elegant setting with social events, year-round activities, 3 meals per day, housekeeping services, and daily transportation. If you're ready or just thinking about the advantage of no more maintenance, taxes, and the responsibility of homeownership, but still want to live life to its fullest, Pounder Hall is here for you. The doors to the Eastern Star campus are always open to you and your family. For details, call 315-736-1759.
Let's talk about Hemstrats and some of the cheeses that will brighten your day. These are imported cheeses, and we're going to have them in studio this week, or next week.
Next week, yeah.
We're going to have them in and talk about some of the amazing cheeses that are handmade from around the globe that you could take advantage of. They ship for birthdays, engagements, just simple congratulations, Valentine's Day, Super Bowl for a party. Bring in a charcuterie board would be awesome. And their Hemstrats half moons are just amazing that can be brought anywhere and, of course, shipped anywhere as well. Can I throw out some of the cheeses?
Yeah, and interestingly, because I actually dove into some of their cheeses last night. I was watching the game. I didn't want to order like a pizza and wings. I just wanted something to snack on. So we cracked open the cheese. I had the crackers and everything. But I can't pronounce most of these.
Well, there's the, this is French, the Brie d'Ananzi.
Yeah.
Just incredible. There's Brie de Meaux. There's a triple cream, which I love, Brie Yassavaran. There's Shaors. And then the list goes on. They're from Hudson Valley. They're from California. But then France and Spain and places around the world that really specialize in great cheeses. and you get them all right here at Hemstraut's. You can't find this anywhere. Not in a grocery store. You won't find them there.
If you're entertaining or going to a social gathering, I say brie them all. I say
Brie
whatever
them
they
all.
got, you
Brie
bring them all.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
What he's saying is, in Utica, that's bring them all.
Yes, it is.
Bring them all. It's Hemstraut's. Whether we're talking about the amazing cheeses, their breads and pastries, or the Half Moons, open 7 days a week, 900 Oswego Street in Utica.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Okay. Let's talk to Matt Jajits. There was a monument on the arterial. Explain what happened here.
So a part of the arterial, and whether it's a monument or dedicated, I struggle with the terminology, but Matt can fill us in. Essentially, part of it was the General Casimir Pulaski Highway. All right? And Pulaski is like the inventor, not the inventor. He's credited with tremendous strategy advancements in the American cavalry. I mean, we're going back, hundreds of years. So he was renowned, and there are hundreds of monuments, statues, road dedications across the country in his honor. Well, there was one in the city of Utica, and as we all remember, several years ago, part of a DOT project was to tear up and redo part of the arterial, and ultimately the sign dedicating the roadway wasn't put back up, and I would even argue might not exist today had it not been for a local resident who said, hey, what happened to that sign?
And that local resident is Matt Jajits, who's on the line right now. Matt, good morning.
Well, hello, Bill.
Well, hello, Matt.
I've always wanted to say that.
Well, you did it perfectly. There's no doubt. Okay, talk about this and what you did as a concerned citizen.
Right. So Jeff nailed it on the head. So, we went through this reconstruction progress of the project of the arterial a few years back. And, that was the 2014 time period. And it was approximately 2013, my father passed away, and he was honored as Polonian of the Year. And during that ceremony, both our current Senator Griffo and our former Assemblyman Brindisi were there at that event, and I kind of shared with them my concerns that, hey, with this major project going on, maybe this might be an oversight of something that may happen, and they reassured me that the legislation that was passed back in 1981 by then Senator Donovan and Assemblyman Ruggiero, no, Matt, that won't happen. We're all on board to make sure that we continue to honor General Pulaski. He's again, to Jeff's point, he's credited with the formation and growth of the cavalry during the course of the American Revolution. He was somebody that man without a country. Sort of like what we see, unfortunately, today with refugees because of the partitions of Poland during the late 1700s. So he decided to come here to America to support our fight for freedom against Britain. And, so during that time frame of 2013, 2014, the signs come down, construction starts, we get this beautiful roadway that gets buttoned up in about 2018-ish, but there was no sign replacement. And because of this show, whether he thinks it's a blessing or not, I got in touch with Jim Piccola, who you have on quite often.
Yeah.
And Jim's a great guy, a good gentleman, and we kind of talked about it over the course of 2018 into 2019, text messages, emails back and forth. And there was actually a proof of an engineering concept of what the sign would look like back in January of 2019. And Jim says, no worries, this will go up in the next sign update, because we have to update those here every once in a while as roads change and the signs degrade. But then, unfortunately, COVID hits, and, things just kind of got off track, during that time frame as, other needs and priorities were going. But, I didn't think that, it would be facing, just finally getting the signs up here in 2023. I think, the lesson that I've learned from this experience is that, we definitely have to get our elected leaders involved as soon as you can. So for those people that have a priority like I did for this, reaching out to, and I reached out to our Senator Joe Griffo again, and he got very personally involved in making sure the sign was replaced.
Okay.
Jeff, I think you were at Assemblywoman Buttonshot's office at the time because we talked on the phone.
True. Yes, it is. Yep.
I do want to say, by the way, Senator Griffo is celebrating a birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday.
And in Rome, making sure that we do not forget that. But the story about Pulaski is really quite interesting. Played a major part in the success that we had in the Revolutionary War, and is known as the originator of the American cavalry. Pretty big figure in American history.
Yes, without a doubt. And he's honored in two places here in the city. One would be the Arterial, and then he also has a monument on the Memorial Parkway right as Oneida Street crosses over. So we have two spots here where Polonia has come together as a group to honor him and his contributions to the United States as it stands today.
And by the way, I believe did not live to be very old. Did an awful lot in his 30-some-odd years of life.
That's correct. Yeah, he was. We lost his life in 1779 at the Battle of Savannah, where he's buried till today. But he gave his life for this country to try to establish this republic.
So if I could just give a tip of the hat to Matt for staying with this.
Yeah, that's a big
because
deal.
This might have been something that slipped through the cracks. So hats off on that regard. And I also wanted a note for your family, an interesting historical note. I believe it was it your father and uncle or your parents took a picture in front of this when it was dedicated, and then you and your brother recently revisited the site.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to talk about that because I don't think the state would have liked us trespassing on the road, but we did. We snapped a picture. We snapped a picture on the southbound one that's near Burstone Road, a little safer to get onto than the one that's on the other one. But yeah, back in 1981, both my Bocci and Jaju, my grandmother and grandfather, and my father, they were involved with a number of other members of Polonia to get this roadway sponsored and to honor the general.
Nice.
And we kind of wanted to make this it's a legacy thing for us and our family.
Right.
We wanted to make sure that this wasn't something that disappeared.
I got to say, my family, very similar to yours, did the exact same thing. Had my brothers and I had our picture taken when we were children, and then later as adults with our children. The great General Paul Bunyan, who really worked to clear out the Adirondack Mountains and.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Just him and an axe.
Without his work today, we would never have had water safari.
We would not. We would not.
Another
would,
great American.
We'd just be dry in the Adirondacks. It would be awful.
It'd be tragic.
Matt, listen, I don't joke because I by any means, not by disrespecting anything that you've done, you took something that's very important to you and your family. You stood up and made sure that it was preserved. And boy, if more people would do that, we'd be in a far better place.
I appreciate that, Bill. Thank you very much.
All right, Matt, congratulations. Nice job, nice work.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
So the next time there, you'll know when you're on the Arterial,
Look
it's the
for
General
that.
Casimir Pulaski. I don't know if it's Memorial Highway but exactly how the language is. But there you go. There's a little bit of history there restored in Utica.
And there's a marker there as well that you'll see, a statue, which is really something to look at, and located in two places in Utica. So, okay, that's it. We're back here tomorrow morning. Enjoy your day off. No bank, no mail, none of that today. It's Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and we're back tomorrow morning.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica Rome, W295DI Utica Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
Republicans have even more questions and demands. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. After we found out over the weekend, more classified documents were found at President Biden's Delaware residence from his days as vice president.
That is essentially a crime scene. Once the special counsel was appointed.
House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer demanding Biden residence visitor logs. Here's another question.
What exactly was the president's thinking, and what was his logic in having personal attorneys that don't have security clearances searching for these national security documents, these classified documents?
Fox's Peter Ducey at the White House. Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff tells ABC's This Week they want the same probe as the one into former President Trump's classified documents the FBI seized.
We have asked for an assessment in the intelligence community of the Mar-a-Lago documents. I think we ought to get that same assessment of the documents found in the think tank as well as the home of President Biden.
They found the black box recorders in Nepal, hoping to find out why a plane crashed with 72 people on board, 69 bodies found so far. It's up to at least 40 people dead from Russia's weekend missile strike on an apartment building in Dnipro, Ukraine.
There is pain and there is anger. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky with a message for Russians who failed to condemn these attacks. One day these same terrorists will come for you, he says.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. Actress Gina Lollobrigida has died. She was an Italian movie star of the 1950s and 60s during what's called Hollywood's golden age. She was 95. They handed out the Critics' Choice Awards last night. Brendan Fraser won big and got emotional.
I want you to know that if you too can have the strength to just get to your feet and